This is Roma Reacts, a series where I watch patron-submitted videos with you guys. The first video is sent in by Minu, and it is the Honeyworks #1 featuring Mona, English subtitles. Let's check exactly what this is all about, because again, we've gotten very attached to the Honeyworks videos, and I really feel like they are something like the characters in this have been very special to me, even though we've only watched a few of the videos on it, I suppose. But let's check it out. Let's go. Wait, Minu. I don't know if this was intentional, but I think after last week's video that we watched, where there was kind of maybe a feeling of am I important as my sister, and looking at her sister and wanting to emulate her sister. I think it's actually a really good idea. I don't know if it was intentional, but this video this week makes perfect sense in the timeline of what I've been watching so far. Having the common imagery in the Honeyworks videos with these two sisters, where it's there is a lot of support between the two of them, and there's a love between the two of them, and we want we always want there to be knowledge that there is love between them, but there's also this feeling of her big sister's going off being a model. She's doing all this stuff, and it's it can that imagery of her walking away and her looking at her becoming something, and it's oh, I have to become something myself as well. Different is such a very normal thing, especially wanting your hair to be your sisters, your older sisters. But it's it's one of those things you wish you could shake them and be have you seen your fashion sense? Have you seen your hair? It's fantastic. Don't worry about it, please. But obviously it doesn't always work. Keep pausing because just these characters become so important to me. But there is that, it's so important, right? The idea of it's a double-edged sword though, obviously, because obviously you want to be enthusiastic even though things are hard and stuff like this. But as you've seen here, I think they're also showing how important it is, hugging into her mother, hugging into her father, having that cup of tea with her sister. It's important to stop as well and be it's okay to talk about how upset I am. It's okay to be upset, If I expose myself... Oh, sorry. Press the button by accident. Literally, I was before the end of a video, I usually hover over it just just in case we don't go into the next video. I literally, it was one of those moments where my finger went down too fast. The Mona as a character is someone who I feel has so much talent, such a beautiful voice, a great style. But it's also no matter how adorable and beautiful and lovely you are, what's gonna happen is you're always gonna have something that someone else has that you want. In this sense, we've seen over the past while, there is one of the other songs we watched as well, a few other as well. There is this feeling from whether it be one of the other songs we watched with Mona, pushing through bullying and people bullying them online. But then in another sense, letting it get to them, the idea that their sister has been so good and so popular, but then asking the crowd, it was almost hey, if you love me, I will love you back. I will literally be the idol that you want me to be if you actually respect and love me, which is such an interesting concept for any idol, or anyone who knows idols, to be hey, if you love me, I will love you guys back. Because there is, I feel a lot of self-consciousness within Mona about being loved, about being cared about, even though in this they try to show, especially I think it is very much symbolism, the idea of construction paper, the idea of them looking at their sister and being okay, I have to tie up my hair like my sister, which is a very common thing. I have to be like my sister. Look at my sister being on Shibuya, all the posters of my sister as a model. It can get to you, man, because you're I want to live my own life, but the only thing I'm worried about is it's a very good messaging in a way where it's I want to push through things and push forward. But I'm always worried about Mona. Listen to me, I'm so attached to these characters. I'm always worried about Mona pushing forward too much and not worrying about their own feelings that much. Now, singing about them is a really good way of looking at it. There was a line at the end that really was that was interesting to me. If I can get the exact wording of the line again, which was about the father's exaggerated words. It's something about everyone has a way to live. There are many ways to live. Yeah, there are many ways to live. So I'm wondering, again, if I misinterpreted this, is this Mona saying that that's just not, it's exaggerated. You have to find the way that is right for you, maybe? I don't know. Maybe that's the perspective they're going with this. Again, beautiful imagery. I think the removal of construction paper was kind of look, I don't need to construct myself in my image of my sister. My sister supports me. I support them. I do love the idea of the and I think it's also sending two messages when it's the idea of hugging into the mother and hugging into the father, and then having a cup of tea with the sister, where it's yes, It's a sad. Yes, I'm like, how do I say it? I'm getting so into this, but like yes, it's like important to talk about this stuff, but it can sometimes feel like all the advice you're being given and all the love you've been given doesn't feel real, and sometimes it not only just doesn't feel real, but it's like it feels like, well, this doesn't help. You know, it doesn't help. But yeah, like that's the way I see it. But thank you so much for sending me new. I love these videos. I get so attached to these characters, and Mona is one of my favorite characters in this. So thank you. And the next video is sent in by Azadrak, and it is a lore video, how Paimon leaked her own identity. This is, okay, this is going to be pretty interesting to see what this is.
This is Paimon, and whether you find her adorable or flat out annoying, there's one thing we can probably agree on. Everything about her existence is very suspicious. We have no idea where she came from, and Paimon doesn't seem to know either. But what if I told you that throughout her journey, she's essentially leaked her very existence without
I'm terrible
anyone
because,
realizing?
like, I just never thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like a common thing that people think about where Paimon came from. And for me, I'm just always just like, you know, Paimon is Paimon. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe I'm like that worst type of fan who just doesn't think about it, but I just don't think about it most days.
Learning about her identity would be pretty cool. After all, if we knew who she was, it might give us an idea of what's going on in the story. And because of this curiosity, we would often ask questions like, is Paimon the unknown god, the god of time, or perhaps the descendant of the Seelies? Unironically, if we take all her suspicious dialogues and characteristics and trace them back to the source of origin, her identity can finally be explained. So make sure to watch this entire video because it will not only explain who Paimon is, but also why the world of Teyvat was basically a prison from the beginning.
Huh? See, again, like I'm always interested in these theories about Paimon because obviously, like, you know, like I said, I come from the perspective of someone who like never thinks about it. So like, it's obviously cool to like see what other people are thinking about Paimon because it's always a shock for me. It's always like, wait, what? You know, every single time.
The genesis of this video began with my initial curiosity that maybe Paimon was connected to the sustainer of heavenly principles.
Right. This
is
the
same thought that probably everyone had at one point or another. But then I became so obsessed with this copium idea that Paimon is linked to the god of time because she can technically freeze and fast forward time inside the game. Then it all spiraled out of control because it became very clear that Paimon was infatuated with treasures and her identity as a self-proclaimed tour guide resembled more to a Seelie.
I mean, yeah, you can see it that way for sure.
Ideas are yet conclusive. It's fair to say that I was pretty much going insane. And that's because I always had a gut feeling that if we can figure out who Paimon was, the entire story should reveal itself on its own. And
like, for me, like, I guess, again, this is the thing, like, where I never think about that stuff, you know what I mean? That's maybe, like, again, like, it's just the way things go. I never think about the fact that, like, is it Paimon who's pausing time? Because I always saw, like, the moving forward of time forward was always like just like us waiting around for a bit or us doing other things canonically, but like I didn't get, like, again, unless I've just been stupid this whole time for 500 hours, I always just never thought of that as Paimon doing it. I always thought of it as like just like an in-game thing, like, you know, sometimes you have video game stuff in the game, you know.
From this frustration, I had a crazy idea. What if Paimon isn't the unknown god of time, or the Seelies at all? What if it was backwards? If all these entities resembled Paimon, wouldn't it be possible that Paimon is actually the point of origin?
Paimon is,
and if that's true, then theoretically
everything's made in Paimon's image.
God of time, and the Seelie race could simply be different versions that stems from Paimon herself.
Honestly,
maybe this was a stretch, but sometimes a gut feeling can result in something quite spectacular. So with this information rooted in my mind, I did exactly what any other Genshin Impact player would do.
I've seen that guy's face a few times.
And go play the game. So I journeyed through the deserts of Sumeru.
Honestly, like Paimon being like the point of like origin and the point that everything was created from, like, honestly, deserved. Finally getting some recognition.
Much thought. Coincidentally, during my playthrough of the World Quest, Paimon dropped yet another random-ass dialogue. Oh no, if only there were 10 Paimons, which was then followed by Jabreo stating that it's like the branches on a tree. Same root, endless division. Then it hit me like a truck. This was exactly the idea that I was thinking of earlier. Was this yet another random-ass dialogue or a potential hint regarding
That's the
Paimon's
question.
identity?
That's the question.
Once again, I dove deep into insanity and would spend next several days trying to make sense of this information. Hypothetically speaking, if Paimon is indeed the point of origin and there are multiple versions of herself, there's only one logical conclusion: the primordial one. But to make sure that I dot all my I's and cross my T's, I dove deeper into the lore, which is where I learned that Paimon being the primordial one was not only logical, but essentially explains the entire structure of this world and all its secrets.
Which is nuts if true.
Inside the world of Genshin Impact,
Nuts.
there's an entity known as the...
Like, I guess, like, again, like, when it comes to, like those type of lines, like, it's kind of cool having these people having these videos sometimes because, you know, lines will pass me by quite a bit. And while some people, like, you know, will, like, not read... Like, I won't read into the lines too much. But, like, some people will read into, like, every, like, piece of dialogue. And, like, I totally get that. Like, I totally understand that. From my perspective, like, I always just, like, you know, maybe brush past them because I always just see it as, like, a funny line. But I guess that's what, like, this creator was saying as well. So it's cool to have people who, like, take this and actually, like,
also
run
known
with
as
it.
Fanes. And Fanes is the creator of the human realm. This is a very good starting point because Fanes also exists within Greek mythology.
Right.
And we can use this as a reference for possible clues that might explain Paimon's identity and perhaps the story. In Greek mythology, Fanes creates the world and
Beautiful
all the
artwork.
gods within it. By extension, all beings that exist reflects the attributes of Fanes itself. What this basically means is that if we were to add up all the characteristics of different gods and beings, it ultimately represents Fanes. Funnily enough, this description aligns really well with my initial hypothesis that if we were to add up all the characteristics of perhaps the unknown god, god of time, and the Seelis, it should represent Paimon as the point of origin.
Okay, so you're gonna
It's
take
also
all
mildly
the
suspicious that Fanes
take all the different aspects of each of them and try to relate them back to Paimon?
in both Greek mythology and in the game are depicted with wings and a crown.
Right.
Features that are blatantly obvious in Paimon's appearance. Suspicious. So in hopes to learn something from this possible clue, I did more research behind the primordial
Beautiful area.
one. In Genshin Impact, the primordial one creates 4 shining shades of itself to bring forth the human realm. Now, while we can only assume who or what these 4 entities are, Fanes in Greek mythology gives us a direct answer. When Fanes was born, it simultaneously creates space and time to materialize the world. But because this world was bound by the constraints of time, it also introduces life and death.
Right,
From
okay.
this information, it's possible to deduce the core ideas of the 4 shades. Life and death, which are synonymous with beginning and the end, and of course, the dimensions of time and space. It's funny, isn't it? Paimon essentially signifies the beginning of her journey, and at the same time, the game constantly hints towards her separation from the traveler. And for some reason, she sees...
Again, maybe I missed out on it. I don't know if I did. Oh my god, look at that! Look at Paimon, this pause. Maybe I missed out on like them, but they have teased it before and have been showed that Paimon is very sad whenever we do separate. Recently in the festival that I played, I did the Lantern Rite Festival 2023. Paimon is like, you know, very upset at the idea of even being separated from us for 5 minutes.
Unaffected by time when we pause the game and has the ability to disappear into thin air as if she can bypass the concept of space.
Same.
Now, of course, all this could simply be circumstantial evidence and have no meaning whatsoever, but how
No,
can
we like you reading.
ignore
We
the
like people
fact
reading into
that
this.
throughout the entire game, Paimon seems to constantly hint at her own existence, and saying things like primordial wrath on multiple occasions makes everything even more suspicious. Is it just a coincidence, or
Yes.
are they actual hints from the
Maybe.
developers themselves? Whatever the case may be, I'm sure you've already noticed the 4 shades of life, death, time, and space are directly reflected in the game through the artifacts. The Flower of Life, Plume of Death, Sands of Time, and the Cup of Emptiness or Space. But what about the Circlet of Logos, the final artifact? If we try to define the meaning of Circlet of Logos at face value, we'll get something like the Crown of Reason. By itself, it means, well, absolutely nothing. Reason for what? Why does the crown You see, without proper context,
great Hutao,
it's impossible
image.
to figure out its meaning. But if we go deeper into the origin of the word logos, we can start to make an educated guess. In Greek philosophy, logos quite literally mean the divine reason implicit in the cosmos, ordering it and giving it. Basically, heavenly order and its law. Now, logos also derives from the
just want to point it out really quickly as well, because obviously like I'm listening to a lot of this stuff, so like I'm sorry that I'm not like, you know, oh, like, because I don't want to just like, you know, talk over what they're saying, because I feel like then I'm gonna miss out on stuff, then I'm gonna be even more confused. But yeah, like I feel as though like I love when and I've said it before, any person's making a video, it does this type of stuff where they add in like the not real world stuff, but like I get, no, what is real world in terms of like real world mythology?
word lego and legis, which means the act of speaking with authority, something like I say the law. Greek philosopher Aristotle gives it an additional meaning as well.
I bet he does.
As he defines it, reason, discourse, or argument. If you're confused, let me condense all this into a simple explanation. The circlet of logos represents the divine law connected to discourse. Now, we know that there are only 4 shades, so you might be wondering, what represents the final artifact? Believe it or not, there's a 5th entity that comes from Faunus that a lot of people often neglect. The eggshell, and this eggshell is the representation of the circlet itself. Faunus was initially born from a cosmic egg, and
Which, by the way, imagery is fantastic, the idea of being born from a cosmic egg. I always do love the kind of like symbolism of like an egg. I know it sounds weird, but like, you know, from Dark Souls 3, the last DLC in Dark Souls 3, but also then like with Angel's Egg, like that fantastic movie as well, fantastic art style from that movie. Like it's just, it's so like fantastic, you know, in a very kind of like fantastical way to symbolize like the birth of something, right? It's so fantastical.
It's eggshell to separate the universe and the microcosm of the world. Basically, the eggshell separates the heavens from earth. Think of it as a barrier. Now, what does this have to do with the divine law of discourse? From this description, we can take away a few important details. There was a form of contract or law that humans were expected to live by. As long as they didn't give into temptation or stay oblivious to a certain secret, mankind would continue to receive blessings from the gods. And this secret was sealed behind the false sky or the eggshell. But why does the law exist?
That kind of adds to another theory we watched recently as well in Roma Reacts, where we talked about the idea that, like, you know, the sky being false is like one of the most like protected theories. And maybe that's one of the reasons that the nail in general was used. Like the nails were used in general to keep that secret from the people, from being revealed by the people that were coming in to Tevat. But yeah, I don't know.
The stars and the sky are all a gigantic hoax, a lie. Famous words spoken by Scaramouche.
Absolutely crazy.
Understanding what this lie is can be quite difficult because the lack of context
drives me nuts, by the way, in a good way, where I'm just like, it's like, here's the thing, because like I don't like theorize all the time about stuff. Like I theorize about character and personal feelings all the time and things like this. But like the one thing, as you guys know, and everyone does as well, it's not just me, I'm not special in this sense, that sky is a lie, the stars are a lie, is like, please just tell me more, please.
But if we take the divine law associated with the circlet of logos, the barrier between heaven and earth created by the eggshell, and cross-reference them to Gnosticism, we can come to an interesting conclusion. Now, because learning about Gnosticism is actually really dry, I'll try to
We've
break
heard
it
this
down
word
step by
a
step
few
so it's
times
easier to
watching these
understand.
lore
In
videos in
Gnosticism,
Genshin.
there's a true god named Monad. Think of Monad as the light of purity or
Cool drawing
enlightenment
here.
itself. From Monad spawns an Aeon known as Sophia, who was imperfect.
Okay.
And because of her imperfections, she splits the purity of God into light and darkness. And from this instance, Demiurge was born, the creator of the human realm. Now, it's important to understand that Demiurge is not pure or enlightened. While Demiurge is still considered a compassionate deity within Gnosticism,
Right.
because of his own insecurities and imperfections, he doesn't want humans to achieve enlightenment. After all, he's the one that created mankind and doesn't want them to ascend above his world. Interestingly,
And is it like, I wonder if it's knowing secrets, and knowing the secrets of the world would...
a Greek philosopher, Plato, attributes the word logos to Demiurge again, giving us another meaning. The underlying order that is hidden beneath appearances, which mirrors the concepts of the false sky and its lies, as well as the eggshell that separates mankind from divinity. And from this entire story, we can notice a direct parallel within the lore of Genshin Impact. Demiurge is the one who created the human realm. This would mean that Demiurge represents Faunus, and Faunus holds mankind hostage through the constraints of life, death, time, space, and the law. keeping humans bound to the material world of Tevat in a repeated
So
cycle.
that's what like the idea is. Like again, we've seen this a few times where we talked about the idea of like why would they want to keep these secrets from people? Why would they want to like not have the people of Tevat know about this? And like if it is the idea of like ascending to a higher being, that would make perfect sense. I've always seen like Dotari as like someone who like definitely like I don't think fully obviously knows about all this stuff because he like traded his own puppets of versions of himself, not his puppets, for like knowledge of the idea and the secrets of Tevat, or like some secrets of the world of Tevat. And I feel like he is all about like the idea of like getting more knowledge and obtaining more knowledge, even in the way like again the most evil way possible. But like that, I feel like that's like Dotari's main goal is to like progress further than humanity probably should.
Now, for humans to achieve enlightenment and ascend above this world, they require greater knowledge and power from beyond this world, which are constantly shut down by the structure of Tevat, the law that forbids humans from learning the knowledge of true divinity, essentially making all of mankind a prisoner of the material world. Now, if this interpretation is accurate, what does this mean for Paimon? Is she an evil
Going
god
back to Paimon.
pretending to hide the truth? Well, not necessarily, because regardless of whether
Paimon.
Paimon is good or evil, it's very clear that she really doesn't seem to remember who she was. Her characteristics and suspicious dialogue.
Oh, do you think that like in the end there's gonna be like a big scene where like Paimon like remembers who they are or like finds out who they are? Maybe like because I think that's gonna be like both equal parts like heartbreaking and enlightening.
Simply be habitual fragments of her memory from her former self. Maybe Paimon also got guabified. I mean, at this point, we can't ignore this possibility because of her lost memory as well as her small figure.
Stone,
Not to mention, it seems to be a reoccurring theme in the game. It's also extremely suspicious that every time we make fun of how useless Paimon is,
I don't. But yeah, no, there is like a very there is like a theme of that, isn't it? The idea of like forgetting who you are or like becoming like more normal or like like even though this game like there's a lot of characters that you talk about like with Dotari who want to ascend in terms of knowledge, and like a lot of characters who would like to like have the power of a god. We've seen that before. There are also characters like, and I look at like to me like Zhongli and Venti are a perfect example of this too. Obviously it's different from like forgetting about stuff, but it's like the idea of like enjoying the normal aspects of life too. There's like both this idea of like people wanting to ascend and people wanting to descend in a way and become their regular selves. But we're going to talk about Paimon reacting to whenever our character like will make fun of her sometimes.
Gets visibly upset and tries to prove to everyone that she's very important.
Again, there's some stuff like obviously like and they've admitted this. Obviously, I feel like sometimes stuff you read into too much, and I feel like with this stuff with the Paimon like getting angry, this is just Paimon's like very self-conscious attitude. Like she doesn't like and that's Paimon, right? That's like she just is a person who like will get angry if they are slighted.
Could possibly resemble the inferiority complex of Demiurge. If Paimon is indeed the primordial one, and the world of Tevat is in fact a prison that stops humans from ascending, it actually gives us more questions than answers. Why do divisions exist? And what does this have to do with the Traveler? Also, who are the four shades and the eggshells of Hannes? What about the powers of the Abyss Order and Thaneslave? In my future videos, I will try to theorize on all these topics, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget
it's so
to
weird
press
seeing
like
Lumine from this
and
perspective.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
No, it's cool.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Remember, this is just a theory.
Don't worry about it, man. You call it whatever you want to call it. From my perspective, and if I can just like, again, I know like, this is coming from a person who is like, Calvin, also known as Romer, who hasn't caught up to the games yet, who you guys probably have like way more information than I do. These theory videos are a little bit older because obviously I'm watching from the perspective of someone who is catching up with the game. We put basically 3 years so far worth of like video game into like 10 months, which is definitely what has happened. But I really feel as though that for me, I see like the way I was looking at with Paimon theories, especially stuff like this, and like this is just always gonna be like me until like I'm shown otherwise. I suppose is that like there's like 50% I'm like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes that's so right. That's so true. The idea of like like Paimon forget, like again, like 100% believe that Paimon has forgotten who they are. Paimon, like, hasn't explained fully where they came from. That makes perfect sense. Not only that, but like they have the same specifications as a winged creature, as I said before. The crown that is adorned in them as well. This idea that they could have been like, people could have been created in their image makes perfect sense. But then also at the same time, I also look at it from the other perspective of like the other 50% of my heart, which like is always like Paimon is Paimon. And like I look at like say the menu stuff, for example, where I think that is just menu stuff for me. Like I really do think it's just menu stuff. And because to me it's like, okay, if you can say that like we can pause time or move forward time. Perfect. Yeah, 100%. If we can move forward time, that's like that's a cool power, but I never saw it as a power. But then correct me if I'm wrong, I never saw it as a power. I always saw it as like just a video game mechanic. Same with like, in the same menu you collect the mail. In the same menu you up the world damage. So then at that point, if we say that she can, move time forward from the Paimon menu, then I feel like also at the same time, maybe we have to say that the other parts of it, because Paimon's active in the menu right in front of us, right? Then we have to say that me blowing on the PS5 controller to, hit Paimon is also something that like will come into play at a later date, or like, us like upping the world level is something that Paimon does. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, that you have to like, it's such a rocky road to go down that road there. But I do feel as though like, not to just like, I always hate being like, hey, I don't really agree with this, but that's going to happen with theory videos. I do like, really, really like the idea of the protection of a secret. I think that's like one of the best theories I've heard in Genshin so far, and like it's been thrown throughout this video as well, a few videos we've seen so far. I love the idea that like, it would make perfect sense in the end to have like a character like Dottori, be throughout this game, because Dottori hasn't been defeated yet, right? And it makes perfect sense to like to have a character like that who like wants to ascend in knowledge in a game where now I truly do believe that there is some higher power that is trying to protect the higher divine knowledge that is in Teyvat. Like the idea that like, I love that idea that the nails that were dropped onto Teyvat were a prevention method from outsiders from revealing to people that the sky is a lie, which again is another theory that I want to know so desperately as well. I wonder what you guys think. Like, because again, there's loads of different theories on Paimon. I know like there's like again, it's not confirmed in any way that Paimon is like the primordial one, that Paimon is Fen is, but there are interesting ways of looking at it, right? There are really interesting ways of looking at it. And I think that's what's like so kind of cool about like Genshin sometimes, is that like it's not, there's no conclusive like voice on this, right? Because sometimes, you'll see in the comments people like, it is confirmed, it's not confirmed, this is theory, this is theory, all this stuff, because I think that's like, just how Genshin, feels and how other games will feel. Sometimes again, like I was talking about, like some lore is so important and some lore is just not important. And like sometimes we read into stuff, sometimes we don't. I think that like at this stage, like it's one of those things that like if Paimon turns out to just be Paimon, right? I'll be happy. Like I won't mind. Like, again, and that maybe that's just come from Calvin's perspective. Like in fact, like if the like again, I always talk about how like, the perfect ending for the Paimon story for me is for Paimon to be standing there in front of the traveler at the end, and we find out who Paimon is, and Paimon's like, says something like, hey, like you probably, don't trust me anymore. And then for the traveler to say back to her, well, no, Paimon will always be Paimon. Like to say back the line that she has always said throughout this whole game, because it's a phrase that's said constantly in this game. And again, it like, people can see it as cheesy. I just think it's like, it would be such a, like a beautiful moment to like, find out who Paimon is, find out the origins of Paimon. Oh, you don't trust me? Well, no, I do, because Paimon will always be Paimon. And like, to me, that's like the best ending. It's like, we find out who Paimon is, because I do believe that there obviously is some secret to Paimon, right? Paimon's eventually going to get their own story. Paimon's going to eventually get their own like quest, right? But I also think at the same time that the perfect ending to that is also the belief that Paimon will still fight by her side, and that Paimon is Paimon. The next video is sent in by Zevi, and it is the Archons, Venti, Zhongli, Raiden, and Nahida voice lines about each other. This is very interesting to see. So this is starting off Venti talking about Morax.
Have you seen that gentleman around? Huh?
Gentleman?
He's just a normal man by the name of Zhongli now?
Oh my
That
god.
must be quite the change for that old blockhead. Come with me to see him, will you? I have a vintage I dug up from Windrise that I can take as a condolence gift. Oh, did he still seem strong?
Oh my
when we
god, the
saw him?
interest as well, look.
How strong? Am I likely to get blown away? So, I hear you defeated the mighty Raiden Shogun? I recall the days when she was a Kagemusha, seeking to perfect her martial prowess.
That's so cool.
She now no doubt employs a wide range of reasoning to get you to train with her. Oh, but yes, come close and I shall let you in on her weakness. Desserts.
And light novels.
First thing you think of when you hear Dendro Archon is her power over dreams. Her dreams are akin to my ballads, full of emotion and imagination. It goes without saying that we
There's
get
like a
along
playful
really
respect here, right? It's like being very playful about it, but like there is like a respect there, right? It's like but obviously it's in Venti's tone of being like, you know, one of the jokey characters who ever lived.
It
This is about
reeks
Venti.
of wine. That bard has just been through here, hasn't he?
That bard.
That drunkard is a disgrace to the arts. Oh. Has he tricked you into getting drunk? You're slurring a little. Wait a moment. I'll brew a pot of sobering tea. It'll be ready in only 6 hours, so
6
just
hours?
wait a moment.
I'll be sober by then.
Time
Get some
tempers all
toast.
volition. Yet she would give up everyone for her beliefs. Perhaps it is for this very reason that she has come to where she stands today. Should the chance come by me, I too would like to learn of the eternity for which she so earnestly endeavors.
Is this
As
about
well
the
as
Raiden
ruling
Shogun?
over all of Sumeru, the god of wisdom Buer has a duty to guard Irminsul. Only one who possesses great wisdom could hope to shoulder these responsibilities. All life in Tevat owes her gratitude for saving Irminsul.
That's so cool, the way that like Zhongli, you know, is not only praising Nihida here, but like is like I appreciate what Nihida did, you know? And it just shows that like Zhongli is a character who enjoys like slowing down with life. That's what the tea aspect was about. But I also feel as well like Zhongli keeps her ear to the ground.
So the animal Archon still goes by that name among mortals these days.
Oh
Truth be
no.
told, from the very first moment I met him, I
No.
could somehow sense that we were not going to get along. Also, he sure can drink a lot.
Wait, so Venti's that one person, that one group member of the group that everyone's like, do we have to invite Venti? That's horrible.
I had an opportunity to feast with him once, back when I was just a Kagemusha attending a gathering of the gods. So he's made his choice. Be that as it may, I don't believe his story is anywhere
Super
near finished yet.
interesting. Okay, the idea that like a character could listen to see what Zhongli did and be like, like I can't even fathom doing
I
that.
admire her humility.
Great.
It is a sign of true wisdom. With the power she holds, Buer is capable of doing many things beyond our wildest imaginations.
Right.
And yet, she uses her power only to right wrongs and to protect. She is a truly gentle god.
That's so, again, what do we have here so far with descriptions? Everyone describes Nihida as like, wow, they're such a gentle soul. Wow, we owe them so much. And then when they describe the Raiden Shogun, it's like, wow, she was a beast, man. She was so strong and stuff like that. And then when they describe Zhongli, it's like, oh, Zhongli is changed? Oh, wow. Well, I still think that they're, you know, this and that. Well, oh, have they done this? Are they still going to be that strong? And then when they describe Venti, they're like, which we love Venti, but so interesting.
That long ago, the 7 Archons used to stay in regular contact with each other.
Right.
I'm a bit of a special case, though.
Of course.
So I don't have any memory of that time. Now that things have settled down in Sumeru, I think it's about time I made contact with them again. You're on familiar terms with some of them, right?
That would be so
Would
sweet.
you mind introducing me? You're that
Nihida, let me introduce you to this guy here. His name is Venti. Most loveliest person you ever met in your
Playing
life.
games is a good way to quickly bring people closer together. I'm sure it must work for gods, too. How about, once everyone meets up, I suggest we play hopscotch together. On second thought, maybe not. If I draw the squares, it will look like I made them really small on purpose, just like you win. That wouldn't be fair on the others.
No, you can do that. You can do that. You've earned a cheat. You've earned a cheat. Very interesting dialogue there. And like one of the things I was like, I guess I asked a question to you guys is when it comes to Venti, to me, like I look at Venti as like a very comedic character, of course. Venti's very funny. Venti's like a laugh. Venti's very a slacker in some cases. But like to me at the same time, like I get that totally that Venti is like this character who's made to be like pestering people sometimes, even though like I love that. I love a character who like isn't harming people like, you know, horribly, but just is like kind of like a nuisance. It's like so funny. But like do people ever talk about like or I guess like is Venti's way of pestering the other Archons sometimes, or Venti's way of like pestering people in a very comedic way, does that sometimes just like show how human the Archons can be? Because like, you know, you talk about like what they did and, you know, we talk about what the Archons did. I wonder, do people know that like it's stuff to Venti? Because Venti's done a lot. Venti's done a whole hell of a lot for Mondstadt. You know, and I even think like, you know, even if you talk about like Duval and stuff, yeah, but what he did for Vanessa and the people of Mondstadt at the time, and Vanessa's people at the time, was crazy cool. So I wonder if like that's just a really cool way to show how human the Archons can be, where like as like Zhongli be like, oh yes, Nahida did this thing, it was fantastic, and then it's like, oh, the Rain Shogun is this and all this stuff, and then you know, because Venti is such a nuisance to him that he just forgets every good thing Venti's done, and he's like, that drunk, god damn it. Very funny stuff. I love how like, again, I feel like all these voice lines, again, one of my favorite things that the Genshin has done when it comes to the Archons is that like we have seen their human side more than we've seen their godly side, and I appreciate that. So the next video is sent in by the Menace from the North, and it is Hu Tao rapping in 4 languages. We love Hu Tao's rap. Oh my god. I didn't realize that like people like, and I guess by the way, people when they described why they didn't like it, totally understandable, right? But I always thought it was supposed to be like a very silly moment and like just showed Hu Tao's character of someone who was just so like always like the switch is turned on always, you know, Hu Tao, you know, and it's like very natural for them to just be a natural performer. I talked about how they like speak in like funeral language all the time, where like, you know, like when someone's doing a funeral prayer or something, will be like, today we are gathered to talk about someone who we loved. And Hu Tao talks like that, you know, the same way Venti talks about things like, you know, doing a poem, and you know, like they're reading out a poem or a song or something. I know it's pretty interesting to me. But yeah, I just like, I loved it just because I love Hu Tao, and I love Hu Tao being their very performance-wise self. Let's check this out. It's the best moment ever. This like killed me. Like, yeah, it does sound different now instantly in other languages, right? It's like it is like a very different energy, I suppose, is what we could say when it comes to this, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like you're gonna have different, you know, tones. You're gonna have different like spacing in between words, the different speed of the words when it comes to different languages.
Let's go! Hey, you butterfly, you too buzzing by.
This is the version I saw, of course. Like when I was watching this, it's just like, to me, like it's just like I saw it as like just like a full Hu Tao moment. Burn! I think this is the most important cutscene in Genshin history. Yeah, okay, I understand. I understand from that perspective, where like in different languages, like it does very much sound like, in that version, for example, that version was like it sounded like an actual like an actual rap, right? Like it did. So I guess like, yeah, I totally understand that perspective, you know. I never, by the way, never want to like say like, you know, again, like I said, I understood what people were saying when they said they weren't a big fan of it. But every version's fantastic. She's the best. You tell him. You tell him. Great stuff. No, it's really I totally like I totally get it from people's perspective. For me, like I just like absolutely freaking like adore I adore Hoot's house so much that maybe like I don't know, maybe I'm like just very incredibly biased that like Hoot's house could have come out there on stage and like, you know, fumbled every word, and I still would be like, yeah, Utao, because again, it's like the spirit of it, right? But yeah, in like the different languages, it did sound like extremely different. Very very fun video to see as well. Like I love those type of videos because we've seen like stuff with like Ito as well, right? Where Ito has we've seen Ito sing in different languages, and we've seen how it's been different from different languages, and like some cases can be very similar. The problem is with like rap is that it's so like, you know, how do I say it? Like the syllables and words and things like this is like so important in rap because you can like, you know, stretch something out or make something rhyme compared to like another language. So it makes sense like why like the native kind of like language is that the language that it's recorded in would like be the bounciest and like the one that like fits the actual music the most. I guess it makes sense. But I still love obviously the English one just because like, you know, that's my Hutao. Really fun thing to send in as well. Menace from the North, thank you so much for sending in. The next video is sent in by Sync Season, and this is a video. It has a little description here. It's since Genshin is very popular amongst the younger generation, Miho sometimes uses that popularity to give a platform to old Chinese art techniques. The younger generation might not have interest or even know about it. Doing so keeps the art alive and reinvigorates them, so the aspect of culture is not lost to time, which I think is a fantastic thing to do. Let's check it out. So this is, by the way, a journey of art and heritage, Mortal Tales egg carving. So it's actual carving within an egg. Look at Liyue Harbor. Oh my god. It is beautiful. Holy. And that's one of the things, Genshin can afford to do this. Like, not every game company can do stuff like this. Because one of the things that like happens is like, you know, you have like a marketing budget, you have all this stuff. If you came to the executives for other games, like if you came to like, you know, if the Dragon Quest executives came to Square Enix and were like, look, we want to do a marketing thing where we do a full series on how to make this traditional thing from the Dragon Quest series that is a real thing in real life. You know, they might say like, well, look, there's no money in the budget for that. But Genshin is such a huge game, and that's what makes it so special that they're able to do things like this, right? They're able to be like, hey, look at this thing that you can do with that was a traditional art form. Which I think is so freaking cool. It's one of the big benefits of being like the big, because I do think that like Genshin being like the biggest game in terms of revenue in the world, right? In terms of revenue, has led to like things like letting creators do whatever they want with the content, right? Letting their marketing teams do crazy stuff like this, and like do extra things like concerts and things like it just leads to something that has been so good. That's why I think that it hasn't been squandered, right? It's like the right way to do like a large popular game. No squandering going on. Man.
正在蛋壳表面上演，线条婉转，刻痕细腻，这是精湛的民间艺术。
Holy hell!
蛋雕。
Oh, you put a little light in it?
复活节彩蛋，中国有送红鸡蛋的习俗，比蛋壳彩绘更讲究的是蛋壳雕楼。
Wait, so they scratched them into actual eggs?
蛋雕的文字记载，
What the?
蛋雕古称雕卵、漏鸡子，传承至今，成为方寸之间雕梁画栋的手工技艺。
鸵鸟蛋、儿苗蛋、鹅蛋、鸡蛋以及鹌鹑蛋，这些都可以用来做蛋雕。
Which is
原材料
nuts.
获取来是比较
Which is nuts.
但让毫不起眼的蛋壳变成蛋雕，没有像大家想象的那么容易，那么简单。
I imagine it's not
从业余
easy.
爱好到全职投身蛋雕行业，蒲德荣走过无数通向失败的路，依然坚定地行走在脆弱的蛋壳上。
I can imagine, yeah, like imagine this stuff failing
竹菊、百鸟
all the
朝凤
time.
等视觉之作。
确
Beautiful.
切来说，没有人完全是手把手教我， 大部分也是靠我自己的琢磨，权衡了很久，
Very cool.
还是想在
the
淡雕这条
O
路上
games.
闯一闯。
一支铅笔，几把刻刀。蒲德荣正常是
Lots of
用寓
tools.
意万物新生的蛋雕刻元神离月的人间百态。蛋壳薄脆，可塑面有限。为确保雕刻时蛋壳的稳定性，先在画纸上起稿草图，设计好图案的布局。
I thought when I first saw this, I thought it was going to be like an egg that was made out of like plastic that they carved or like stone or so. You know, like you can get those eggs that you can make designs out of and stuff like that. I thought it was going to be that. Like this is like talent beyond my understanding.
受力点，再把图样绘制在蛋壳上。
蛋壳是浑圆立体的，不同于平面上的那个三庭五眼和黄金分割来刻画。
Yes.
用非正常比例定标绘图，经过反复修正后正式雕刻。
在不到2毫米厚的鸵鸟蛋壳上复现离月的风土人情，需运用蛋雕里最难的深浮雕和镂空技法。
Jesus Christ, the sturdiness of that egg.
深浮雕是用刻刀雕出凹凸起伏的图案，在灯光下蛋面凸起处显暗，凹陷位置亮灰相间，运用
That's so cool. It's almost like a lino print in a way.
鸡蛋每刻一笔都有颜色的变化，
Oh my.
但鸵鸟蛋只有
Oh my
纯白
God.
色泽单一，无法用颜色区分层次，只能靠深浮雕来凸显它的轮廓。
离月港口的景观错落有致，雕刻的厚薄便有所区分。近景略厚，中景稍薄，越远的景物蛋面越薄，将透未透，薄如蝉翼，表现出群山和港口的距离。若是做到极致，即使不打灯，
I can't.
也能看出
Like imagine getting halfway through this and then it breaking. I'd cry. I'd cry. Imagine getting all the way through it and it breaking.
人物蛋雕更为复杂，不同于平面
Yeah,
绘画
I can imagine.
蛋壳自带弧度，线条的分布与走向难以把控，画面也会随着观察角度而变化。
God.
人物作品的好坏取决于开脸，也就是五官的刻画。
All these characters from
到
Liyue.
位才能达到形式和神似，但和图片里的还是有细微的差别。毕竟蛋壳
Is
是
that Madam?
球面的。
No, that's not Madam Ping because she's not in the right place. Who's that? That's the character you meet on the way to Liyue, right? Maybe I'm wrong and it is Madam. No, Madam Ping, but I don't think it is. I think it's that character you meet on the way to Liyue, in the village right before. I think it's past the village. Yeah, it's in like an open hut area, right? It's like an open. Would you call it a hut? It's like it has like it's just like almost like a shelter. It's like a roof and like has like a shrine in it. I think it is, but maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
既要体现厚薄，又得时刻避免过薄，以致刻破。但镂空也并不简单。
蛋雕呢，它可以叫
What the
减
hell?
法艺术，就是越刻到最后，它的支撑点就越来越少，厚度就越来越薄，它的难度就越来越大，也更容易碎。
Yeah.
因此，镂空银杏叶的
I mean,
时候
that's just like as well, like general building as well, right? Like if you're doing construction and you're building a tree house, the structure is going to be a lot weaker every time you carve a window. You know what I mean? And like it's obviously not to an extent that it will collapse in, but it's just a very construction heavy way of putting it. Like if you build any type of structure, a cube, and you start carving out the cube, the more you carve out of it, the more it's going to be like
要把
weaker.
握好电动刻刀的速度、方向和手握蛋的轻重。银杏叶纹路呢，怎么连接点怎么交代
Insane.
也是一个难题
Insane.
下手前都要仔细考虑。
No, insane.
战战兢兢，如履薄冰，只有反复练习，才能窥见
Like,
无尽。
look at that.
支撑作品的底座也是用鸵鸟蛋制成，将4块蛋壳打磨平整，拼贴组合成完整的底座后，再雕刻出几何岩纹和重重山峦。这是蒲德荣独创的拼雕手法。
我以前做蛋雕呢，都是用传统的木头来做底座。我觉得蛋雕要协调一致，底座呢也得用蛋壳， 这也是我个人的原创。
Wow, just because he thought it lacked harmony, decided to put more work into it.
心在
That's someone who cares about the
其
craft.
意必专。在蒲德荣的巧手之下，蛋壳上的图景栩栩如生。千帆汇聚，万商云集。港口
Man,
的
this
建
make me
立
really
为
emotional
离
for
越
like
海上
egg
贸易
carving.
打下了基础。商贸与财富，或许也是
Yeah.
乘船远道而来之人对璃月最初的印象。市井繁华，熙熙攘攘，璃月的百姓无论男女老少，都各司
Yep,
其
that
事，
wasn't Madam Ping.
各得其乐。进入与人契约的时代，这片烟火人间，想必也能焕发
Oh my god, the
新的生
storyteller.
机。
Oh my god, the way they do this.
这次与原神的合作，我觉得非常好，也希
Unless it was because they're talking about Liwe. Let me check this again. Like I just feel bad like if I'm getting this wrong, but like, you know, it's in a carving sense, so obviously it's a bit different than
其意
you
必
know.
专。在蒲德荣的巧手之下，
Because that's not where
蛋壳上的
Madam
图
Ping
景栩栩
usually
如生。
sits, right?
千帆汇聚，万商云集。港口的建立为璃月的海上贸易打下了基础。商贸与财富，或许也是乘船远道而来之人对璃月最初的印象。
Because Madam Ping sits in the open.
市井繁华，熙熙攘攘，璃月的百姓无论男女老。
Yeah, that's not Madam Ping. Of course it's not. Like you look at it right now, you're like, that's not Madam Ping. Right? That's just that's an old lady who we meet on the way. I remember the actual open area hut. Because Madam Ping not only like has the same outfit, but Madam Ping also has glasses. Madam Ping also is in a different area. There's no mountains near Madam Ping at the time when she said, yeah, 100%. I just want to make sure. I knew I was right, thankfully. But still.
少都各司其事，各得其乐。进入与人契约的时代，这片烟火人间，想必也能焕发新的生机。
Yeah, it's Liyue Harbor's still so pretty.
这次与原神的合作，我觉得非常好，也希望大家多到现场看看。
That'd be awesome.
图片上的弹雕作品呢，会有一些变形，看着没有那么立体；实物呢更加立体、真实，也更加直观。
弹雕是典型的表意的艺术，比较难
Expressive.
通过用字引领这条路
Great way of putting
走
it.
进现代生活。但是弹雕
How do you do
入门
this?
不难。
Musical
适合
freaking
发展为
notes.
手工体验活
Ah,
动
come on.
我想有了广泛的社会用途，才会有更多的年轻人来学。期待弹雕在未来
Incredible.
异彩。
They should make. Holy hell, it's gorgeous. What the hell? It's so pretty.
不行，
That's a real place.
事虽小，不为不成。做好每一件和弹雕有关的事，让古老的技艺继续留存展现。
Amazing.
刀锐谋影，可宝巧克，径寸千姿，守护非遗。
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, no, that's like just incredibly gorgeous artwork that we've seen here. And I think like one of the things that like is so impressive about stuff like that for me all the time is that like we have a myriad of different cultures around the world, different talents within those cultures. This is stuff that I would not see here in in Europe. Well, no, not in all of Europe, but like in the aspects of Europe that I've been to, I should say, because I don't want to like put a blanket. Because when people do that, like I live in Europe, but like there's like a thing where people will be like Europe as if it's like a one big country because it's so different across all aspects. But like I guess like growing up in Ireland, we did have like Fabergé eggs and we did like paint eggs, but very rarely would I ever see something like this. I don't think I've ever seen something like this up close. And like to go with like actual beautiful traditions of your own culture and making them into like your own in the future, in the present I should say, is an absolutely beautiful thing. It really is, and I'm super impressed that anyone would even be able to do this. Honestly, it was beautiful work, right? It was super beautiful work, and it continues to amaze me whenever I see these extra Genshin videos, because what happens is, like I said at the start, Genshin is so good at like really, celebrating, like the company, like MiHoYo is so good at celebrating Genshin on a whole, not just Genshin in terms of like what's in the game, but what's like, you know, influenced the game, who is making the game, like who is making art of the game. Like they have a whole thing where like I feel like they celebrate their audience in terms of their artwork and their creations more than any other game I've ever seen. It's impressive. But thank you so much for sending in this next season. That was really awesome to see. Super, super impressive stuff. Really impressive. The next video is sent in by Sonia. I won't pronounce it right. Sonia. Again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, just tell me. In fact, you know, if you want to post a comment down below and shame me, I will even pin it if I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, the next video is sent in by Sonia, and it is the A Realm of Dreams Unforgotten. Original song by Rina Hari, and who else is this by? Rina Hari and... Let me pause this here. Rina Hari and Genshin Impact. Okay, cool. Wait, this person made a song with Genshin Impact. Very cool. Let's check it out. Interesting artwork here as well. The world kind of blending in with each other. Is that official? Whoa. That is an amazing drawing, official. Was that Klee? Is that tall Klee? No, it's not Klee, okay. No, it was Alice, was it? It's Alice. Wait, what? That's Alice. What the hell? First of all, this video is already a 10 because, you know, a great artwork of official. That's so sweet. Great voice here. So cool to see Alice like that. Oh my god. Oh no. Depicting the Yakshas. They need their own game. They need their own game. Xiao, perfect character. Great artwork here. Yeah. Oh my god. The artwork is beautiful. Oh, look at Kaf at the back. It's Saito. Oneida. There's so many again. Like, look at all these characters that we love so dearly. There's Dehya as well. I need to, again, that was a big frame of, like, characters here. That was a big frame of characters of the Sumeru crew. Look at all these characters. And Neela, who's, like, one of the most talented dancers ever. And the lyric as well, by the way. Sorry for, I'm going to be skipping back a lot of times. Welcome, yeah, friends. Yes, Genshin is about friendship. Genshin's about friendship. Oh, look at all this. Is that Noelle? Better to love and lose there's Ganya and Shenha. Look at Ito. Jesus, Ito. I love the beat of the song. Look at this. It's like an old like a Bard's Tale or something, right? Like in a pub. Oh, and they're bringing the education to the desert. Oh. Yeah, the voice is beautiful. Oh, speaking of beautiful. Oh my god. Destroyed. Destroyed. Tanari doing the... And Yoimiya, of course, by the way, perfect character. The artwork and the music. Oh my god, Venti as well. The artwork and the music in this, it kills me. Because, like, you know what it's doing? It's, like, reminding me of, like, all the stuff we've seen in Genshin. And it just makes me feel, like, destroyed. Because it's like, holy hell. Like, is there, like... I can't think of... I've never played an ongoing game like this. And seeing all these characters... I've never met this many characters that I've cared about in a game ever. Ever. In history of all my playing of video games. You're perfect, Yaviko. Beautiful voice. The dragon. Look at Venti. Wait. Oh, wait, is this trying to, like, personify how, again, always correct me if I'm wrong, but is this trying to personify, when Barbados took over Venti's body, and like, so this is like, you know, respect towards like the body that they adapted to, right? If I'm misremembering that lore, please let me know. Some people will be like, what is he talking about? But you know, like during that battle when Barbados, you know, took this form. Yeah, I could be completely wrong, but like, oh my god, look at this. Oh, look who's down in the background, look at that. And all the, of course, Guizhong and I'm sorry, but everything single frame of this is just getting me, man. I need to see everything. Because the song is beautiful, but like the artwork is also like just like mesmerizing. Yeah, there's Madam Ping and Guizhong. Cloud Retainer, Jogli. Look at you down in the background, Dragon Check looking around. Oh, and there's the Rain Shogun's friends. And family. Oh, with Ruka Devata and Nihida. This is beautiful. Is that Runa? No, stop, cease this. Oh no. This is just all that this freaking fun. Stop. Beautiful voice, by the way. Like, it does feel like a bard singing a song for like, you know, it's one of those things where they hear about the song of the traveler and they sing that song, and they hear about the stories of the traveler and they sing that song. Like, that made me feel so many things. The way I can describe it physically is like my arms are all chilled, right? They have chills all over them, but then my heart feels like super like light. You know what I mean? Do you ever get that feeling where like it feels like there's like this light feeling in your chest? And like for me, it's like just seeing all the stuff that we've seen so far and this perfect depiction of these characters, and like even like, you know, emotionally and like spiritually as well. We saw the stuff with Tonari and like, you know, and Venti, where it's like these people aren't really there, but there is like this such a respect for the past with this stuff. Beautiful art. We got to see Al's as well. Beautiful music, and I actually thought the voice was fantastic. The lyrics actually like fit the whole thing as well. But I think what like was so mesmerizing to me was like, again, like visuals, as you guys probably can, you know, tell from a lot of Genshin stuff. Like, you know, I love art style. I really do. Like, I love the idea of an art style. And with this, like, it really had just like a fantastic art style. It really did. And a fantastic look to it as well. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. Getting to relive all, like, go through all those characters that like we have met and we haven't met. Desperately want to have like DLC. Like, that's the thing. I understand this isn't a DLC type of game, but like I would desperately wish for like a DLC about a lot of the characters like Wei Zhang or Madame Ping or like Zhongli's past, or things like that. I actually am going to be making a video soon, by the way, talking about what I think what happens after this story in Genshin finishes, and maybe not soon. I want to maybe like catch up and then we'll do it, because I do have some theories so far. But yeah, like, sorry for getting sidetracked there. I think this video was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sending, Sonia, or please again correct me if I'm getting your name wrong. And if I am getting the name wrong, you know, shame me. Absolutely shame me. The next video is sent in by Dodo Dan and is the evolution of Sergios in Monster Hunter Heavy Wings. Let's check this out. Learning more about Monster Hunter, always a very nice thing. So the evolution of Sergios.
Sergios is the flagship of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. He is a gold-coloured flying wyvern with sharp scales all over his body. Sergios is formally introduced in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate's high-rank story. In most Monster Hunter games, the story tries to build a personal rivalry between you and a specific individual version of a flagship monster. But not Sergios. You encounter him once and beat him almost immediately a short time later. However, it turns out there's many more. Hundreds of them invade the land and begin to constantly appear during hunts. Yes, Sergios in 4 Ultimate is an invader and can appear in every locale in the game. Sergios attacks primarily by shooting his blade scales and striking with his legs, using his talons to rip into his
Colors
enemies.
are pretty here, look at this.
He moves around on all fours with his wing arms on the ground. This makes
the leg movements are so strange, right?
And he's also a very adept flyer. Seregios can attack by standing above you and striking down with his talons. He can also fly towards you while swinging his talons, either in a straight line or in an arc. He can also strike down while hovering in the air. Other attacks will have him rush forward in a tackle or flick his tail around. Seregios' blade scales are extremely sharp, and he can fire them as projectiles from his head. When his talons or scales strike you, 2 after explosions will occur, stunning and knocking you back, with the second hit having a high chance of inflicting bleed, a status newly introduced with Seregios. When you're bleeding, moving around, attacking...
It's so, again, a video about the evolution of this stuff and then showing all the different, like, landscapes and games and things, because I think it is different games, right? Like, super, super cool to see.
Or evading will have your health drain very quickly. The only cure is to either eat some meat or crouch for several seconds, both of which are fairly dangerous options, with a monster as erratic as Seregios. The multi-hit attacks are dangerous because they interrupt your current action, making it harder to dodge the final hits.
Yeah, the leg movements are insane.
But there is a narrow window where you can dodge your guard. So
Like,
long
it,
as
you know why it's kind of unnerving, kind of scary? Is because, like, it's a very natural movement for animals that we see in real life, right? And that's what happens a lot in Monster Hunter that I've seen from these videos, is that a lot of these, like, creatures have very, like, like, strong relations to creatures we've seen in real life. Because they do have their own, like, you know, ecosystem. They do live in their own way. A lot of them are, like, very fantastical. We saw, like, you know, multiple creatures who have, like, a very, like, almost like ethereal way of being, or, like, even in some ways, like, you know, we saw a dragon that was, like, you know, that lived within the poison and the fungus, and like again, like, nearly, like, but then again, that's something that, like, is a tinge on reality, right? It's something that, like, takes stuff that does happen in reality with, like, funguses and things like this and, like, turns it up to 12. But, like, those leg movements are something you would see, like, a creature, like a bird creature, using to attack someone. And maybe that's why it's so, like, it makes me very scared. I don't know.
Panic, you should be okay. Whenever Seregios roars, his scales ruffle around like feathers on a bird, and these scales extend whenever he becomes enraged. When this is the case, he will perform his arc attack twice in a row. He also has a pin attack initiated by flying in a huge arc towards you. This one is interesting, because after striking you on the ground, Seregios will throw you. If you're playing with Paimon or other people, he'll throw you at them directly, and vice versa. All of this makes the Seregios fights pretty dynamic, as the two of you constantly move around.
Yeah, no, it's a very, like, fast-paced fight, right? You have to move around.
Notice. And the new bleed mechanic adds a lot of tension as you struggle to avoid taking further damage. I've broken down his moveset, but one thing I must stress is that he doesn't really have dedicated combos. It almost feels as if Seregios does whatever attack whenever he wants. For example, after swiping his claws in an arc attack, if he's directly above you, he can immediately strike down with his claws or back away while firing projectiles.
Which looks like a problem.
He will leap into the air and aim his claws towards you. He's always ready to do any attack at any moment. The saving grace is that while the majority of his attacks involve his legs, they are also very susceptible to taking damage. Seregios is one of the first monsters in the series to have a super powered up state, as he overcame Shigaru Magala's frenzy virus to become the apex Seregios.
Wait, say this again? Please?
Seregios is one of the first monsters in the series to have a super powered up state, as he overcame Shigaru Magala's frenzy virus to become the apex Seregios.
What?
This one is massive, his eyes are glowing red, and purple smoke is constantly coming from
Wait, so he adapted a virus? Like to a virus and became stronger?
Like all Apex monsters, only his weak points can be
So this
hit.
might be the same game and I just thought the landscapes are different games, but that, like, maybe goes to show how cool, like, the different landscapes are
Without your
designed.
weapon
But I could be wrong.
perfecting,
Yeah.
Unless you use a dry vice stone. Apex Seregios fires blade scales from many more attacks, including his tackle, arc attack, and tail flicks. Seregios also appears in Monster Hunter Generations. In this game, he is no longer an invader, and so he...
I own this game. Monster Hunter Generations on the 3DS. I own this game. I think I've said before how, like, I just, like, you know, probably need to get back to Monster Hunter at some point. And Dodo Dan has very kindly said a few times that, like, you know, it's very accessible now. Even though it wasn't non-accessible, but, like, now for someone who, like, maybe isn't as good at Monster Hunter, like someone like me, the newer games are way more accessible.
He appears in desert and volcano regions. In J rank, he fires blade scales from the same attacks that Apex Seregios would, making him much more dangerous. He can also do a new attack where he rushes towards you from the air.
So this is different games, by the way.
For Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. In this game, he has an updated moveset, theme, and appearance. He also appears
so cool seeing like the progression of like how they keep the art style intact, but the graphics get like, you know, more advanced.
Forest regions in addition to the deserts. Bleed has been reworked in Sunbreak. Now the damage it inflicts will remain as a purple segment on your health bar. This can be healed back by curing bleed, or removed by taking.
That's actually like really cool, like how you can see it now.
Bleed can be cured in the same old ways too. So Regios can
do
the generations rush towards you from the air twice, back to back. His old sideways
still very
sweep
frantic this
changed,
battle.
as now he will spin around in the air before flying towards
at least there's a
you,
tell.
skidding on the ground. He can also do a different strike, where he flies up before rapidly flying down, and when he's enraged, he will do both strikes back to back. His fired scales will remain on the ground, serving as temporary bleeding hazards.
That's a dog.
After firing scales from his head...
I'm sorry, but like, why is there a dog? There's dogs in Monster Hunter? But I want to say as well, what I think is cool about the evolution of new moves and new attacks in this game, and actually I'll ask you a question about this, Dota Dan, and anyone else who wants to answer about Monster Hunter. Is there a thing with Monster Hunter where like the creatures over time like adapt to the hunters? Like if they're being hunted by the hunters, I know they for sure adapt to their ecosystem and the other monsters around them. They have changed. You know, that we saw before a monster that like would never leave its place because it always protected that place, but then had to move at some point because of the seismic activities that happened there. But I'm wondering if there's a thing where like they became more agile because more monsters were made, or not made, but more monsters were like born, and they had to like change their fighting style, and that's why that's why they have new movesets, or if it is just like Calvin, just accept there's like just a gameplay, because it doesn't matter, like either or. Like I'm a person who like loves like the idea of games just being games, you know, like when they are just games, you know, like it's kind of like it's 100% okay for a game to just be like, oh, it has new moves because we thought of new moves for it. But also, I also like the idea that like, oh, maybe there's like a very contextual reason why a creature would have different moves and different attacks. But either or is fine for me.
He will immediately turn and fire them from his tail. So Regios can also flick his tail while rising in the air before firing scales downwards.
That dog got slapped.
When severing Sir Regios' tail in 4 Ultimate, a huge chunk would come off, leaving him with a stump. Severing it in Sunbreak will merely have a spike fall off, leaving the tail mostly intact. His pin attack no longer has him grab you.
Oh my
Instead,
god.
He knocks you to the ground and immediately fires blade scales, killing you if you don't wire fall.
Jesus.
His old sweep attack is not present in Sunbreak.
Okay. So how did the community respond to the changing of moves? Like, is this something that bothers people, or is this something that they're just like, okay, cool, a new move? Are they excited to see this stuff? I imagine it's probably a lot of excitement.
Normally in the series, we cover multiple iterations of the same monster over time. So when I think about who is the best, I have around, on average, 3 choices.
Whoa.
Not to mention variants and subspecies. This time, there's only 2, and unless you want to count Apex or Regios, there's no variants. So considering we only have 4 Ultimate and Sunbreak Sir Regios to talk about, I would like to talk about how Sunbreak downgraded Sir Regios. And no, I'm not just talking about his moveset.
Downgraded?
In 4 Ultimates and Generations, Sir Regios' weapons would have the unique feature where rolling multiple times in a row would automatically sharpen the weapon.
So this is Generations.
This was a pretty cool feature that fit well with Sir Regios, considering his blade scales are so sharp.
Man, I'm sorry for pausing again, but the whole visuals of this like proved to me like many times, and we'll go back to the start of this point, but like it's just like, you know, when people like are always like, man, this is like the graphics in this look like, you know, 3DS graphics, and it's like, yeah, look how beautiful this game was. Maybe this is also like Wii U maybe as well, but I still think that like that's also the point stands, because that was like PS3 era. And it's like people like, man, like the PS3 had like terrible graphics, and you're like, man, why is the word graphic not come up? Graphics always have to come up, when instead art style is like so important. And like I can look at a frame of Monster Hunter and go, that's Monster Hunter. You know what I mean? A good game to me, a good art style to me, and a good world design to me is not something that's so graphically intense. It's if I can take your character or a character from another game and put him in your world, they shouldn't be able to fit. Like if I put Link in this world, it would look weird, right? Just like if I put a monster character in Link's world, it would look strange because the art styles are so distinctive from each other in like little tiny ways that really make them like so like they stand out from each other. The example I always give is like say like with Genshin when I'm playing Genshin and like and everyone's like it just looks like Breath of the Wild. It's like well if you took Link and put him in Genshin, he'd look so strange. He'd look like he doesn't belong there. Just like you put a Genshin character in Breath of the Wild, it would look strange. And that's like I don't know. I just think it's a really beautiful game. Like these type of games, even like you know, like I not that anyone insulted the old, you know, old graphics, but it just reminds me of like, you know, people will be like, oh, like it's there's no like detail on the rocks and all this stuff, but it's like, man, it's so pretty though. It's such a pretty game. Older games are still so pretty.
It's also made his weapons a good
like look at this art style. It's so pretty.
A lot, and it overall made Seregios feel more special. The sharpness of his weapons were always maxed out too.
I want to go back to start just in case I missed out on anything. Sorry about that. I just got very passionate about art style again.
Where rolling multiple times in a row would automatically sharpen the weapon. This was a pretty cool feature that fit well with Seregios considering his blade scales are so sharp. It's also made his weapons a good choice for those who rely on dodging a lot, and it overall made Seregios feel more special. The sharpness of his weapons were always maxed out too, and while the actual sharpness levels were narrow, the gimmick made it work well. Neither the self-sharpening or maxed out sharpness bar are in Sunbreak. Seregios weapons are just normal with raw damage.
It didn't carry over.
From, especially because their sharpness and slots are merely average. The lack of self-sharpening is made worse by the fact that other weapons in Sunbreak do have unique features. Flaming Espinal's weapons deal poison and fire damage both. Volcano weapons have better frostcraft.
Right.
And Chaotic Gore Magalo weapons have negative affinity without the Frenzy virus, which becomes positive when you overcome it. This specific feature of Chaotic Gores was in 4 Ultimate too, and it's a shame how that feature was brought back but not Seregios's.
Right.
I
wonder what the reason for that was.
Because those monsters are all endgame Elder Dragon equivalent in terms of power, while Seregios is in Master Rank 4. So maybe the developers thought his weapon could be crafted too early for such a powerful feature.
Right. Excuse me. So there's like this idea that like it made the game maybe too easy, too quickly. Right. Because I remember in Bloodborne, I remember there was a glitch that you could get to the later areas very early on. I remember like the only reason I think like, you know, that I theorized that they patched that glitch out. Because like it did, like obviously they don't want people seeing the end game areas before the start. But anyone who's like playing the game for the first time isn't doing that glitch. You know what I mean? But so I always thought that like maybe they were like, well, we don't really want you getting like these like really crazy weapons to start off with. We want there to be like a progression of weapons and a progression of like items and things like this. Because that's how the game is paced. So I wonder if they looked at that weapon or something and said like, oh god, like they said, it's so powerful.
In 4 Ultimate, Seregios weapons had 2 forms, with the second one looking more revised and much cooler.
That it does look cool.
Only the
sharp
first
edge
is present. To be honest, I don't think any individual weapon has 2 substantial designs like that in Sunbreak.
Is this upgrade system one of those things as well that like it's super... I'm pausing so much though. Feel free to shame me about this too. Is this what this weapon's another thing where it's like this weapon system? Is this looks really hard to understand from the outside perspective. It looks like once you get the hang of it, it's like, thank God, like I can do this no problem.
So I can see why they didn't make an exception for Seregios. Technically, they tried doing the Seregios weapon evolution on a larger scale for a ton of Monster Hunter World weapons, and it didn't really work out well at all. Regardless, it's still a shame. In some cases,
I can feel that also pretty.
Would have special features. The upgraded hammer did not have a unique design, but charging up would cause the scales to protrude, just like how they do on Seregios.
Wow, just like the actual creature.
The sword would be folded when sheathed, and would unfold when unsheathed. Both these features are not present in Sunbreak.
Beautiful.
Then there's the fight itself. I feel like most monsters brought into Sunbreak were implemented very well. So was Seregios, but in a lot of ways he is lacking compared to his 4U self. For example, that version was extremely erratic in how he attacked. He was crazy, constantly striking from different angles, and it felt like he didn't really have dedicated combos. It felt like he could do anything at any time, and this was all balanced by his legs being very weak. So as long as you were as aggressive as he was, things would be fine. The Sunbreak Seregios feels a lot more straightforward. He will always strike towards you twice in a row. He will always perform a fast strike after a sideways strike. These consistent combos all feel like variations of the same attack, and it makes him feel less interesting. He lost the old arc attack, which was really threatening too. He just feels far more predictable in this game, and I don't really like the bleed changes either. The way it worked in 4 Ultimate and World was so much more dangerous, and this rework was not good at all. I also think it was high time for something new, like a subspecies or variant, but that didn't happen. If you don't count Apex Seregios, he has received nothing since his introduction.
It's interesting to me, like, I can sense the passion in this video, and I can totally understand that, how, like, if you had a favorite fight or a fight that you love so much, and then later on, like, you were so looking forward to that fight, and it turns out to be, like, a little bit less than what you thought it was going to be, I can totally understand that. Yeah.
Making him and Velkhana the only flagships to basically be alone. Even the Generations flagships had the deviants.
What's that?
Did we really need a 4th Mizutsune and Sunbreak? To be honest though, he's probably not the simplest monster to give a subspecies, since he doesn't have an element. What would it do that the original couldn't? Fire more blade scales? I've often wondered if taking Apex Seregios and turning him into his own variants would be a good idea. Having a non-Megala monster with a frenzy virus could be interesting, and I do think he looks really cool. I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks. Overall, one thing that really impressed me about 4 Ultimate
So gorgeous.
Seregios was that pretty much every single attack animation was unique to him. Animation reuse is not a bad thing at all, but it was really refreshing to fight a flying wyvern who fights unlike anyone else in the entire game. Even his tail swing is different to the others. His aggression keeps the fight fast paced, but the fact that his legs take so much damage balances the whole thing out. He's a great monster, and I hope they give him something new in the future. The Sunbreak iteration is not a bad fight, but I don't think it really fully captured what made the original so good. What do you all think of Seregios? Do you prefer the Sunbreak or 4 Ultimate version? What kind of variant or subspecies would you give him? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe.
Very cool.
And have a good day.
Very cool. I can totally feel that perspective, I suppose, with the idea of, like, you know, how, like, it changes and, like, it becomes, like, maybe in a lot of people's eyes and in this creator's eyes a little bit less than in terms of a fight. Because I feel like one of the things that, like, happens a lot of times when you follow a series from start to finish and there's, like, reoccurring things in the game, you know, you're going to notice different things, and, like, sometimes the changes can be good, sometimes the changes can be bad. But it seems like in this sense, this was a boss that, like, this person loved dearly and loved to fight dearly. I have fights like that as well in games. My favorite boss fight of all time is Genichiro from Sekiro. It's, like, my favorite boss fight I've ever fought. In terms of, like, the Yacho battle itself, I think in terms of, like, pageantry and, like, you know, how do I say it, like, and pageantry and, like, epicness and, like, the magic of something, I think that if you talked about it that way, I'd probably, like, say, like, something like the Vaughn fight in Genshin, or, like, maybe even, like, in terms of, like, how, like, incredible boss fight is. Like, when I first heard the opening theme for, like, the final boss in the DLC of Elden Ring, it's also pretty incredible. Or, like, actually I would say that it's also probably something for, like, say, like the final boss in Shadow of the Colossus, which, again, isn't, like, my favorite fight in terms of gameplay. It's my favorite fight in terms of, like, you know, like I said, the pageantry, the music, the setting, the scene. That's like, oh my god, this is incredible. And then, like, something like you know, Final Fantasy X's fight with that certain character who shall remain nameless, because I want more people to play that game constantly that maybe haven't played it, maybe from a new generation of people. But yeah, like, I could totally understand, like, say if, like, if I'm playing, like, fighting Genichiro, and then, like, a new version of Sekiro comes out where, like, a Sekiro 2 comes out and Genichiro somehow is, like, a fight in that game. And, like, if I'm fighting that fight and, like, I beat it so quickly compared to, like, my first fight with Genichiro, and, like, and I know the reasons, like, let's say, like, with Genichiro you have to be, like, very aggressive. Like in this, you have to be very aggressive. But if I then fought Genichiro again the second time in a new game, and Genichiro all of a sudden, like, wasn't aggressive, and, like, you could, and, like, gave indications and said something before every single move, like, here I go, it's time, you know, which, like, I want to say as well, like, can be great for a boss battle, but it has to fit, right? Like, it has to fit. Like, it doesn't make any sense for a character like Genichiro to say something before a move, because they're not, like, that type of character. They say something after a move or, like, right before a fight, but it's, you know what I mean? So I guess, like, it depends on the fight, really. But yeah, I can totally understand that. But, like, what's so cool about this, like, enemy is, and this progression of stuff as well, is not only just, like, art style and, like, you know, seeing, like, the different types of game, like, how they, you know, grew throughout the games. But I do like the perspective of someone who has been playing Monster Hunter for a while and cares so much. Like, that to me is super, super cool. It's super cool. Thank you so much for sending it, Dododan. We always love seeing a bit of Monster Hunter stuff here because, again, it's like what Roma Reacts is. It's opening up a whole new world for Calvin, also known as Romer. And that's like why I always like love Roma Reacts dearly, because it's stuff that like, it's not even like, you know, stuff about being like, you know, like, oh, I'm watching stuff that like I wouldn't usually watch. It's just that like I wouldn't. Like this stuff doesn't come across my table a lot. But I love having like a very open-minded feeling towards a lot of this stuff because it's honestly like very enjoyable to see what other people are into, and then relate to stuff you enjoy, and also like get to see a new thing that you can then enjoy as well, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's really, really cool. Thank you for sending it, Dododan. The next video is sent in by Malcolm Condé, and as note, this isn't the backgrounds. The following is the first video series called The Oldest View, which was also created by Kane Pixels, who was the backgrounds creator. The one who made the backgrounds. It isn't the backgrounds, but set the tone for the series, which I may send more between other videos. Let's check it out. Interesting. We have a human starting off this as well, which is very different from the other stuff that we've seen so far in this series. Oh yeah, the color tone as well. It seems what this person, Kane Pixels, is actually very, very good at is like making things feel like very, very like making natural kind of places, not natural places, but places that like, you know, you could see yourself in feel very eerie. Because I already have a very uneasy feeling. And I've been in a forest several times in my life. How'd you do that, man? Trees are hard to sit on. Interesting. Again, the color toning as well is what's striking me most about this first. Oh no. No. It's so funny, the woods in the daytime, pretty magical. The woods in the nighttime, someone is trying to kill me. Whoa.
When the summer days are gone.
Whoa.
When the roses fade and die, and no more is heard the song of the night.
This song is very like it's soft, but it's also like feels like very like there's something off about like the instrumental part of it, right? Can you hear that? Chirr, 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 chirr.
Shall we meet again?
Like, that's such a weird visual. Am I supposed to feel this nervous for something? Like, I feel like something's gonna happen. Imagine hearing the song at nighttime, walking through the forest. This is like the creation of a mask, because we saw a sketch of a mask there. Oh man. I wonder what the symbolism of this mask is though. What was that? Again, this is what this like, I want to say this is what like Kane Pixels is so good at. Is like, we didn't see a lot, right? But like, it's like what we didn't see in this, and like in terms of the implications of what it was. There's something like very nerve-wracking about it, right? And it does, like Malcolm Day says, it sets the tone for what like will come in terms of his horror stuff. It has this feeling of like, I wonder like what's gonna happen, like, and I think that's like such like a very good like horror technique, because there's a way to do it without like there's that term where like, you know, I don't know what the proper term for is, whereas like, you know, not giving the payoff time and time again. And several times I've watched like horror movies, and they will do this thing where like they make you feel nervous for like a good 5 minutes and then nothing happens. And that can be good if you do it the right way, but if you keep doing it, it can be kind of like, okay. And I think what lends itself really well to the shorter aspects of this is that like I can come away from this feeling nervous about this and not have to think about like, you know, the pacing of a full movie, you know? Like I'm just terrified now after watching 4 minutes of that. Like there's this feeling of like what was happening, not only what was happening, like should something have happened? Did I miss something? You know, is is that person okay? Like this, it's a really interesting way of doing things. The way you can be freaky without, you know, like sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. You know, and also I'm a big horror fan, so like I also believe that more is more sometimes as well, which sounds so strange. And what I mean by that is like sometimes less is more, because you want people to like be very anticipating like something's going to happen. You want the feeling of something's out there. Malcolm Kunde is also a fan of Subnautica, and I feel like Subnautica really does play into that too, where it's like you're not always going to see like a creature all the time or something that's terrifying all the time, but what will happen is that there is like this anticipating feeling of like, what if something is around the corner? What if something does appear? And that's sometimes even scarier than anything, really. It's called the Oldest View Renewal. So I wonder, like, what in terms of what that is, what that kind of like is trying to like get across in terms of this. Now, maybe it's like, maybe it's like, again, the visuals as well that are like of the flowers coming up through the mask and things like this, like were really, really interesting too, because it's just like it's almost like we're looking out at it. It's almost like it's being made onto the mask is being made onto us as well. Very, very interesting way of getting across horror, and I think the Kane Pixels also does like a very fantastic job with this. To be honest, thank you so much for sending them, Malcolm Day. Very, very interesting as usual with those Kane Pixel videos. The next video is sent in by Solvix, and it is Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, End of an Era. And they asked if I've seen this stuff. My history with Final Fantasy is vast. As a kid, I played Final Fantasy X, which is like, again, one of my favorite games of all time. My second favorite game ever created is Final Fantasy X. I played Final Fantasy VII, and my friend says I went on to play Final Fantasy VII, 9, obviously 7 Remake, 7 Rebirth, 15, 13, 12, which is also one of my favorite games of all time. 10, you know, and I really do love Final Fantasy in like a very modern sense, I guess it is, because I haven't played the older versions of the games, but I never played 14, but I have friends who are like crazy into it. My friend Ken, if they're watching this, Ken, listen. Now, it'd be very rare for like a random friend to be watching a Roma Reacts, but if you are, just know, Ken, I see you playing this all the time on the PlayStation. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's check this out. May contain content inappropriate for children. You betcha. Square Enix. I'm a big JRPG fan, as you guys know. Always have been. I know that Final Fantasy XIV was the writer for Final Fantasy XIV, right? And who does writing for it also made Final Fantasy XVI, which I also played as well. Yeah, like Final Fantasy XVI and me didn't mix as well as I would hope we did, and maybe that's just because, like, you know, and it's not because I'm not one of those people that goes like it's not Final Fantasy or anything like that, because like to me, like, you know, games will evolve and change over time. It just didn't mix well with me, to be honest. But there's parts of Final Fantasy XVI that were incredible. What's happening here? It's almost like the like asteroids or something coming down from this like giant sun. And this is like, wait, this has the end of an era. Is this literally like ending, like, the world? Oh my god, we love full-scale battles. Holy hell. Love it. Love it. We love an airship in a Final Fantasy game. The music though as well is like this. I talked about before in this video how like I love like having like a very soft vocal over like, you know, showing like the happenings of like a world like this, because like it is kind of like, it makes you feel very somber. It makes you like you know, because I feel like music can change everything, right? And it can make stuff like this, like a battle like this, it puts everything into perspective, you know what I mean? Because like it's if this battle just had like, you know, which is still, you know, cool for like boss music and stuff like that, it has a different feeling than like this soft tone of a voice singing over it, right? It's like you're not supposed to feel epic about this, you know, it's epic, but you're not supposed to feel like, yeah, it's more like, oh, you know? Final Fantasy characters always looking beautiful. So this is an MMO, isn't it? So they're kind of showing a lot of MMO aspects through this cutscene. That's adorable, that character. I always love seeing that when like an arrow goes into someone and they fall over, like jump over, because like I think that's actually like a thing. Like you're running at full speed and you get stopped by something, you're probably gonna like, who's this? Walk free? Hold on a second here. Is there like lyrics to the song as well? Captions unavailable, okay. Holy hell. No, this is very like this music here. Again, music changing the tone. What is this? Like I know it's a dragon, but born of this? Like whenever I see fire, obviously I think of Ifrit. Holy hell. Like, what do you do in this situation? You know what's happened? Like, I'm gonna skip it back a little bit because like the music change here is incredible. Because even the voice changes, the music changes, because it goes from like this battle is kind of like sorrowful to like everything is effed. Right? And that music tone changing shows that change in the trailer as well. And then they're just looking on as well. Again, this must be like an MMO party, right? What they're trying to signify here with these characters? Or are they actual named characters? Shield. Oh my god. I know what, they give me chills. Holy hell. The feelings I got from something I don't even play. Look at this. This part. There. Holy hell. And they're taking down this dragon, they're sealing him. What the hell? And they did it from different corners of the world? Oh, did it work? Oh, that's terrifying. Terrifying. Oh my god, I've seen this GIF before. So this is just the end. Like when it said the end, but every end marks a new beginning. Was this? Wait, I've heard about this maybe. Let me think about this now for a second. Is this trying to say that like... Yes, I think it is. I think what happened was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Solvix, but what genuinely happened was, it was that they had like like Final Fantasy XIV wasn't doing too well when it first released, and it wasn't as like critically acclaimed and received as like it is now. And they did a whole overhaul of the game, and they had a new beginning of the game, and like, and maybe that's what it's trying to signify here, like that, and it changed perceptions completely to be one of the biggest, you know, MMOs in the world. Maybe that's what we're seeing here. Yet, like, again, I love Final Fantasy to death, and like a lot of stuff, like, you know, when I see trailers like this, like, you know, I have to rely on music and visuals and stuff like this. But they did a really good job of like showing off the music and the visuals, and like making things feel like, you know, explaining like the tone of everything through the music. I've seen like that GIF at the end of that character going, "Arr!" Like as the, I think people use it all the time on Twitter to be like, you know, I guess I'll go now kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's an absolutely interesting trailer, just because like I wonder if that's what it's trying to signify. And if it's not what it's trying to signify, please let me know, Solvix. Final Fantasy 14, yeah. I feel like, you know, the only ongoing game I've ever played obviously is Genshin, but that's not even in like an MMO. We talked about MMOs before on Roman Reacts, and to me, Final Fantasy 14 is something that's very scary to get into. But maybe that's just because like I don't play MMOs, but I know my friends love it. They really do. Thank you so much for sending in, Solvix. That was really cool to see, because again, it's just another example of stuff that I don't know being shown off for the first time. I don't think I've ever watched a Final Fantasy 14 trailer in my life, which is crazy. Super crazy. The next video is sent in by Victoria, and it is Childe and Yoimiya, a budding new friendship, all cutscenes. So this is from outside the canvas, inside the lens. So it's from an event maybe that like I didn't do, possibly. I could be wrong. Now, I'm looking at the comments that are sent in the video on my iPad. If there's extra text, sometimes the iPad app version of Patreon doesn't update the text very often. If there is stuff, I will add it in afterwards. I'll read it in afterwards, and we'll see exactly what it says. Like if there's something that like is like, hey, add captions to this, please do. You know what I mean? But I don't think this one's going to need captions. But we'll see. If it does, we'll go back and watch it if it's something that needs captions. But let's check this out.
It's finally done. Oh, I have to catch up with the others.
Tartaiga?
Traveler. You're just in time. I'm chasing after the powerful Great Mujina yokai with some new comrades I met.
New comrades?
Why, from those comrades of mine, of course.
So weird. It's so weird hearing his voice after so long. It's been such a long time, right?
This extremely powerful yokai has been wreaking havoc across rural Inazuma. Whenever it comes across a child who has snuck outside to play, it starts teasing them. You know, things like tying their shoelaces together.
Oh, man.
Or turning mud and roots into fruits on a tree, then tricking the children into eating them. Sometimes, it even dispatches a few mini Mujina and has them turn into parents or teachers to frighten the children. Anyway, there's no way I'm gonna let such a formidable yokai run loose. If you have time, why not join us in our pursuit of the great Mujina yokai?
So Yoimiya is who's... Yeah.
So you know Yoimiya too.
Of course.
What a coincidence. Anyway, now's not the time for chit-chat. Yoimiya and the others are looking for the great Mujina yokai's tracks up ahead.
I loved, by the way, that we can casually talk with Childe as a harbinger. It is something that like means the world to me because it is like the essence of nuance in Genshin, right?
It's my responsibility to bring up the rear and ensure the great Mujina doesn't attack us from behind in a fit of rage.
Oh, it's not here either. Yoimiya, are you sure the Great Mujina's nearby?
I love Yoimiya obviously spending your time helping others as usual.
Does that mean we're in its territory now? Oh, I'm scared.
Yoimiya's actually very powerful. I wouldn't be afraid with her around.
Scared? There's a whole group of us here, and we brought lots of fireworks too. If anything, the Great Mujina yokai is the one that should be afraid.
Yep. And Tartaglia is watching our backs.
Yes.
There's nothing to be afraid
Yoimiya
of.
and Tartaglia, and now us.
Yoimiya! Yoimiya!
Well, you think I'm one of them?
Tartaglia, help! It's the Great Mujina yokai!
Oh, God.
That's not a yokai, it's the Traveler. You've met her before, remember?
Are you tracking the Great Mujina yokai?
That's right. The Great Mujina yokai has been getting pretty bold lately. It's even starting to trick people in broad daylight. Not only did it scribble all over Iwa's homework and get him in trouble at school, it also stole Saika's snacks and broke Matsuzaka's toys.
Yeah, that's why we're here with Yoimiya. We're gonna chase that Great Mujina yokai away for good.
The voices here are fantastic, by the way.
Oh, him. We specially invited him to be our anti-Mujina specialist. Fireworks can only do so much. They may scare it away, but if we want it gone for good, we need the help of a real
Do you think that's like us questioning that is like also just us being careful, being like, look, you know, he is a Fatui harbinger. Just want to make sure everything's doing okay, which I think makes sense. Like, that's good writing.
Tartaglia is so cool. He becomes like a watery blur when he fights.
Don't I know it?
Whoosh,
Don't I know it?
Whoosh, pow, and then all the monsters are defeated.
He's not just good at
If only he could teach me a few of his moves.
No, the first time I saw his moveset, it was like, holy hell. Like, it's so fluid and so cool.
Well, why don't we ask him after we've taken down the Great Mujina yokai? But right now, our priority is to search for evidence of this yokai and trace it back to its lair.
And then we'll be able to tackle it head on, right,
Confidence.
Yoimiya?
That's right. We'll defeat it together.
Oh,
Shh, keep your voice down.
Oh, she
Don't let
knows.
him out when the
She
others hear
knows.
you.
She knows about him.
He's one of the Fatui
there you go.
harbingers, right? Sakajiro mentioned him to me before. And I heard about everything that happened in the UA too. I know that he might be dangerous, but he saved Iwao. And the kids all warmed up to him right away. He even happily agreed to help us find the Great Mujina yokai.
Honestly, I understand because like I warmed up to him very quickly
Really
afterwards.
scary and dangerous. You know, like the kind of people you'd want to avoid the moment you lay eyes on them.
Yeah.
But Tartaglia isn't like that at
Yes.
all. He's really nice
There's
to the
no way
kids.
he would hurt those kids.
He even had an in-depth discussion with them about the Great Mujina yokai's combat
There's no
skills.
way in hell.
From my point of view, it doesn't seem like he's just pretending to be nice. I think the kids would agree. They believe he's a kind, reliable grown-up.
I think when it comes to a child's personality, I think that like, you know, the whole the child we saw during the battle during Liyue Harbor at the end of Act 3 at that time of the Battle of Liyue Harbor is not the same person that you can judge him by as in every other sense. Not just because of the manipulation. And of course you can judge anyone you want. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying from my perspective, the reason why I will like, you know, it's to me, it's like one of those things where it's like, we don't forget what happened, which is why I think it's good writing for our character to be like, yo, you do know he's a harbinger, right? But also at the same time, we can also accept that what Yoimiya's saying makes sense from our perspective too, because we know for a fact that he cares about his little brother so much. I don't think he would ever make some other family feel the same way he did. Like, he did so much for his little brother. I don't think he would ever do that. Now, you could say, well, he was going to crush an entire place or whatever, like crush an entire dock, the entire Liyue Harbor, and I totally understand that as well. I'm not trying to say that we should like forget what he did. I'm saying that like in this sense, I feel like we can trust him, and I grew to like love him a lot more as time went on, while also not forgiving bad things that people do in this game, because I feel like that's always like something that gets misinterpreted sometimes with any conversation about this type of stuff, where it's like we don't have to forgive everything, because it's not my place really in all those ways to forgive a character who hurt other people. But it's also not my place to stop the growth of a character from going forward, or to stop my love for a character either. Because I appreciate Childe in many different ways as well. The same with like a lot of characters who have done bad things.
No matter what Tartaglia's true identity might be, he's doing something good right now, and I think
that's fair. No, like I'm not against it, Yoimiya. I'm not against it.
But don't worry, I'm not gonna let my guard
Exactly.
down.
I just think this is good writing from our character. Be like, hey, look, I'm just checking things out.
It's great to have you around.
It's good writing.
I see. Yeah, this will make a wonderful gift.
Yae Publishing House released several new novels recently. Shigeru told me that a good number of them are children's fairy tales, perfect for reading aloud to kids. Oh, and Guru Mio has just received a new batch of silk. She might have come up with some new kimono designs. But do you still remember what size your sister wears? The kimono might look a little off if you get the size wrong.
Let me think for a second. I've bought clothes for her plenty of times before. That's it.
So this again, like I always think of the idea of a brother more than anything, like, you know. But we know that Childe has like a family that he cares about dearly.
Hold on. She's having her growth spurt at the moment. She probably doesn't fit into anything I've bought her in the past anymore.
Oh my god, you buy your clothes all the time.
You don't know her exact size.
You beautiful soul.
Just buy her a few bolts of silk instead. Who knows? Maybe she'd like that even better. Oh, and why don't you take some fireworks?
He's the best older
well?
brother.
I just finished creating a new design that's both pretty and relatively quiet. I'm sure your siblings
This is
are
super
gonna
sweet.
love it.
This is super sweet.
What else should you get them? Let me think.
What are you two doing?
It's you. Yoimiya was just recommending some Inazuman specialties
And that sounds
for me
so
to bring
sweet.
back as
That sounds so
souvenirs.
sweet.
If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have the slightest idea what to buy.
So how did you two meet?
Talk about a coincidence. I happened to be passing through Inazuma while taking care of some work.
Okay.
I wanted to grab some presents for my younger siblings while I was here, but I couldn't decide on what to buy.
You're
Tsusu
the
once
sweetest
told me that
man.
he wanted to hold an Onikabuto, so I decided to go catch one of those little bugs first.
Again, it's just like there's I don't care what it says, it's such an attractive trait. You know, seeing someone who like cares about their like younger siblings, right? It's such a beautiful trait. Like whenever you see someone like being like you know, like have you ever like here's the thing as well, like I remember like even like when like if you're younger as well, I remember like, you know, seeing like it's like, oh, this is my little brother, and you're like, oh my god, you were just the best person ever. It's like, well, all I'm doing is I just took him for ice cream. I'm like, what? Ice cream? Oh my god. Wow. Everyone's like, Calvin's not that big of a deal. I don't know, man. Like, it's just so sweet, you know? I don't know. I always just see it that way. It's such a very, like, appealing trait to me. Like, and I think it's just, like, you know, someone who just, like, is able to show how much care they have and how much, like, time they have for people is amazing.
I was looking for Onikabuto in the forest. I saw a child playing all on his own, and he was headed straight for a camp of monsters. So I stopped the child, dealt with the monsters, and then he led me back to Yoimiya. After that, well, I was designated as the anti-Mujina specialist.
The kids trust you instantly.
Kid's parents came and took everyone back home, saying that they'd had enough adventures outside. Our hunt for the yokai came to an abrupt end.
Okay.
The ship I'll be leaving on will arrive in Inazuma in just a few days. Then it'll be my turn to go back home. Oh, by the way, Yoimiya, can you recommend a few local beverages as well?
Local beverages, but you're going to be on a ship for quite some time, right? Beverages spoil easily. How about bringing some snacks with a longer shelf life? Something like tricolor dongo
This is so cool.
or sakura
It's
mochi,
so
for
cool.
example. Saika loves tricolor dongo, but the adults in her family always scold her for eating too many and spoiling her appetite.
Very normal thing.
Tsusu used to be like that too. After having too many snacks, he'd refuse to eat his meals and end up getting yelled at by
All
father.
right.
Anyways, thanks, Yoimiya.
Infinitely
I gotta
allowed
make
to
sure I
clap.
have enough mora for all this. 2 kimonos, 3 bolts of silk, 1 novel,
Spending his
5
life
boxes of
savings.
snacks. Oh, and the Oni Kabuto as well.
On the people around him.
You really care a lot about your
He
family,
does.
Tartaglia?
He does.
Oh, you mean with Tartaglia? Nah, everything's
Again,
fine.
great
He took
writing.
Great care of the kids and even promised Iwao he'd teach him a few moves with a sword. Though, I have to say, it's amazing you have so many friends from all over the world.
I mean, it's because we're always traveling.
You're so lucky. I'd travel all across the world too if I had the chance. I want to see all that there is to see and make friends with all kinds of people. I would even go on adventures with them, just like you do.
Sweet sentiment.
But for now, I have to stay home with my pops. So I won't be traveling far anytime soon.
Fair enough.
Don't keep it a secret next time you come to Inazuma, okay? Just be sure to visit Naganohara Fireworks first, and tell me all about the amazing things you've seen on your journey.
Oh, there we go. That flew by. That flew by. What I think was, again, like I said, when I say good writing, like I'll reiterate what I said, was like I really feel like the idea of like having like that's how we kind of like see Childe in a lot of ways, right? Where it's like, or any like Fatui Harbinger that like we would get to know, like I guess like with Vaughn it was different. It was way different because our friendship started budding like way after they even left the Fatui. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like our true connection started budding in terms of story after we left, after they already were like, you know, abandoned by the Fatui Harbingers, even though we already had a lot of backstory. But with Childe, I really feel like the conversation always is, and I think that's why I mean it's good writing, is that our character, even though they're like, hey, yeah, we like Childe, but also like, what are you doing here? What is happening here? Because we also have to worry about the Fatui at all times. Like we have to. So it's like, again, why Genshin is to me so well written is the idea that we can have characters who are very friendly with each other, but also they take the time to actually like show that like, no, they were still on the defensive with some stuff. But I do love Childe. And I love how they show Childe, because that's, again, that is perfectly who Childe is, by the way, which is this idea that like caring a lot for the people around them, very easily manipulated, which I think is also why, like, you know, they're like, it goes hand in hand with that trait, with someone who's always being nice to everybody constantly, and someone who is also like easily kind of like won over. And I hope that eventually like the lesson at the end of this journey with Childe, or wherever they're heading, the end of that journey, or like the apex of that journey, is going to be them realizing that, you know, people aren't always going to be the nicest things in the world. But there's people out there that you can trust more than the people that you like, you know, have found as a family right now, at least in my opinion. A really cool thing to see that as well. I love the interactions and events and stuff like that. They really lend itself to having like really cool, fun interactions you wouldn't usually see, which is a very, very cool thing. Thank you so much for sending it, Victoria. The next video is sent in by Geonave, and it is a little bit different, but this is also featured in Hoyo Fair. Let's check this out. B. Now, it is a bit of a... Should we turn on captions, I guess? Captions... It's Vietnamese. Okay, it's fine. Beautiful area here. It's gorgeous. Okay. Gorgeous voice. A lot of these places are so pretty, like even in like the kind of like oh look, the guy, oh my god, even in like the overcast weather, it's gorgeous. They're doing like a full-on dance routine. Look at this Xiao serving. Look at this. Oh, does he mean to comment? That's I'm just like so like the confidence and the talent combined, right? Did they make the shortest person be Nahida? Look at all these characters together, by the way. This is really sweet, isn't it? Like, it shows the passion, right? For like the game that you love dearly. And like, to me, like if you want to see how like cool this type of stuff is, I don't say look around at everyone. Like, obviously some people aren't stopping, but other people are like, this is really cool. Oh my god, the overcast weather actually like makes it so pretty. Look at the background as well. Look, Kava and Ito and Diluc. It's is sweet, right? Maybe it is biased, but I do think the Xiao cosplay is the best one. Oh, get it, Yoimiya! Get it! Get it! No, the Yoimiya one's fantastic as well. I mean, they're all very good, but like I'm trying to pick out the best one. Like here's the thing, man. Like I like this type of stuff. If I ever saw this, I'm like, man, the care and passion they have for like the game that they love. You know what I mean? Like this is like this. I don't know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. I'm guessing they did this during like a festival of some kind, because like I would get so worried about getting hit by a car here. I'm just screaming at the shortest person being Nihida as well. And it's like breaking down here as well. I'm just kind of like mesmerized by looking at this as well, guys. It's also a beautiful place that they're all dancing in. Nilo, you gotta show them. You gotta show them. Also, the serious face of the person playing the Raiden Shogun, by the way, fits so perfectly. I don't know if it's intentional. Look at this. It fits. That's also an amazing catching. And Yelan getting to do the same here. Yeah, that's really cool. It's sweet. Like, it's so sweet. Dancing in the rain? I guess it all is rainy weather, right? But like I said, the overcast lends to it so well. They're very good for putting this all together as well. Yeah, it's so cool. It's very cool. And the two different dance crews here. Yeah, no, like to me, like it's like that's like just being, you know, as you guys know, I don't watch like a lot of like dance videos, but when they get sent into here, like I'm always just really impressed by like the passion people put into this. We saw the same thing with the Nilu dance as well previously. But to me, like it's not just about like, you know, the passion. It's also about like, you know, the composition and like the way they put this stuff together. But like the main thing is the passion for me, because I love the Genshin fan base where they do stuff like this. Like this is the Genshin fan base peak when they do stuff like this, and it's so cool to see, because you don't like not again like, because there's such a wide variety, because Genshin's so big, like, you know what I mean, and because they encourage this, and because Genshin encourages this, we get to see more of this stuff, which is very, very cool. Yeah, thank you so much for sending that, June. That was really cool to see. The next video is sent in by Emerald, and it is Genshin Impact Eremite voice lines and attacks. So what's so interesting about this is that I like openly have no problem saying that I like got like that, like for a second I was like, oh my god, are these like named characters? But no, like a lot of the character models for even NPC characters in the Eremites will have just like almost like completely identical models to what is actually like the, like say like Babel is an example, like we'll have like almost identical models, which is actually crazy. I just like, you know, again, like this is always comes from like I guess my inexperience sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, like is that like this character? Yeah, like it's really interesting. Let's go. Look at this beast. Look at this beast.
Your journey ends here.
Again, like when you see it isolated, it's like so cool.
Pound to the ground!
Lord of Sand.
Your sacrifice.
So you're a sacrifice as in us? We're the sacrifice? Interesting. Man, that would be frustrating, right? Attacking a shield, but I suppose you have to break it as well. Look at this crocodile. Man, the impact of that as well, though, like bringing down the beastie onto it too. And then down to one knee. The Eremites have such like a, not only just like a beautiful character model, just like very like interesting, like, there it is, like, yeah, like the kind of like very lore based, like move dialogue. Which is always very interesting to see.
Finally, some target practice.
Again, another very beautiful character design as well. The movements are all like so like how do you say it? Like there's almost like a like they're almost like dance moves sometimes, right? Like they're like so elegant as well as being so destructive at the same time in a lot of cases with Eremites.
Spread your wings and raise a storm.
And like this whole summoning of beasties is insane. Like look at that. I'm guessing as well a lot of these characters that I fight and enemies that I fight are like, I think because like we have like a much lower world level and very powerful characters, I don't get to see a lot of like the extra attacks, so it's always cool to see it here.
Where do you think you're
I'm going home. But thank you, Emerald, for even making this type of stuff.
No.
And it's public. Well done. Yeah. These are awesome.
Goodbye.
These are so cool.
But we'll meet again.
The casual walking away will meet again is very interesting too, right?
Your coming was foretold.
Great voices here.
Eternal as a sapphire. Mighty as a tower. Bloom as the flowers in Gurabad. Filthy outsider.
See, a lot of it's like very like, again, like, yeah, the freaking combat dialogue. Oh my god, look at that. Dialogue stuff for these characters. It feels extremely like, how do I say it? It feels extremely like lore based, right? Because they're so tied to their culture and defending their culture because they've been so subjugated and like there's a lot of prejudice against them for so long. I really feel like they protect their culture and like like even in their combat. The voice acting is so fantastic for this.
The eternal oasis at long
There's
last.
Eternal, yeah, here we go again. Like the idea of like a oh, just swinging on the swing. Swinging on the swing.
Care for a dance?
Like even the sounds of the moves as well.
Catch this!
Think fast.
It's very cool. Like, I love these character designs so much.
Dance with me! The show's only just begun. Be a good audience, won't you?
Be a good audience as well, by the way. You know, like, again, like this character, like how they use their creatures as well along with them. Like, look at this, like, little, like... Oh no, maybe you should be done.
The curtain falls.
Oh my god.
At least you were here.
At least you were here to watch? It's like putting on a show of some kind? Oh, that went to the next one. But yeah, like, is it like the idea of putting on a show of some kind? I wonder if that's what it's Genshin doing. But I do, like, again, it is pretty impressive how, like, the combat in this game, like, in terms of the Eremites, and other characters too have a lot of, like, you know, if you're fighting, like, treasure hoarders are going to say stuff that's very germane to treasure hoarders. But in the Eremites, like, it's like they are, like, so in tune with their culture, defending their culture, that, like, when they die, or not when they die, but when they, like, get, you know, destroyed, excuse me, you can see them, like, and you hear them, like, say stuff that's, like, so, like, you know, again, lore-based is the way I put it. That's the way I put it. It's really cool seeing that. Of course, my combat can be sometimes fast-paced because, yeah, we are lower world level, so it's always cool to see that. So I do thank you for sending that in, Emerald, and for making that as well, Emerald. The next video is sent in by Cat Sith, and it is one more try in the Yuki Kajiura anime music. This track has never been released and has no name, at least not that's been known to the public, and has only ever been used one time in the anime it was written for. And so even after 17 years, the only way to hear it is through the one sequence of the first episode of the OVA Tsubasa Tokyo Revelations. This is pretty far into the story, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle manga, by the way, though it is probably more confusing than spoilery. It's okay. Without context, it was confusing even for people who were following the manga. Still, mild spoilers for anyone wanting and planning to get into the series completely blind. I'm sure out of context, it will be completely fine. Thank you so much, Katsit. Let's get into this. Let's get it back without fail. It's just like the only way you can see it. So I'm guessing the quality is exactly what it's supposed to be as well. Wow. Yeah. 15 years ago, by the way. Oh. Oh my god. So good. Again, even in 144p, I can make out the character designs, which is good. Which is always a good thing. Like, I can see that this character looks awesome. Princess. Interesting. So it's like modern times as well? It is. So it is like a kind of like maybe a mix of like a kind of like a post-apocalyptic feeling to it, I guess, as well. I like these outfits, by the way. So it's such a good look. And these colors even as well. The character designs in this are so good. They actually are so freaking good. And it's like, again, it's like one of those things that, like, it's just like, I talk about classic anime all the time, how it just like fills my heart up so much. But like, it is super cool to see this type of stuff in it. Like the older character designs that, like, you know, like of older anime. I don't know. It's just like, again, it's just like, it's because it's so different to now, like what we see now in a lot of shows. It really is. Yeah. Like, what is happening with this as well? Oh. So there's obviously different dimensions stuff, I guess, because I was like, actually, like, Katsura actually was saying this as well, how, like, it is kind of like different worlds, different dimensions, kind of be convoluted sometimes. So interesting. You look so cool. You look so cool. Yeah, very interesting stuff again. Like with the again, when it comes to like anime stuff in this in Rome Reacts, like I'm always really interested to see, because like as much as I always think like I am like a big anime fan, you'll find out very quickly that like you're not, like, you know, it's like walking into like college and finding out that everyone's doing the same degree as you. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not like the most learned person when it comes to this topic, because there's so many things that like I have not like seen for sure. And it's very cool to see this type of stuff. I just love the designs. I think the colors are really cool as well. Even in 144p, I could make out the designs. The music is fantastic. It really is good. I'll have to check this out. I guess, like, you know, I was talking to the patron who sent this in, and they said like there was like with these series, is that there is like a it's very like how do I say it? Like, it's very not common, but it's hard to like understand. It's kind of like it's you can understand it when you're following it, but then, like, you know, it's hard to kind of get into it, I suppose. But which would be really interesting to see it anyway and try to get into it. Thank you so much, Katsit, for sending in. The next video sent in by Fizzle, and they said that this is the lyrics for that Vaughn song, Vaughn fan song. But I think the visuals are gorgeous. We already got the lyrics for it from Cosmic Catloaf. For now, oh no, so this is a different thing. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I thought that was gonna be the thing, guys. We have to read the full text here. Let's do our Nagi. Don't worry, it's the full song version, so no character spoilers that appeared in Oyo Fair. And each character is written by a different singer. Vaughn is So, Kazuha is Satomi, and Ether's Kana. Let's check this out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Guys, I didn't press the button as quick, but look at this. Look at this. Oh my god. The new boy band, sweeping the nation. Sweeping the nation. Sweeping the world. I've seen Vaughn dancing so much now that, like, I'm just like, Vaughn has to be a good dancer. The outfits. It's actually a sick song. Like, I'm like I've seen Vaughn dance so many times in fan-made videos that there's no way in hell that I could ever see Vaughn as anything but a fantastic dancer now. I like seeing Ether here as well. It's a little bit like, it feels weird just because Ether's like a character I never really associate like with like these videos sometimes, because sometimes I think like it's very rare we have an Ether in a fan video all the time, you know. But it's neat to see. Coming out. Oh, he's adorable. Look at that. Tap of the chest. Yeah, you tell him. I can't get over how good the outfits are as well, by the way. Oh my god. No, I'm sorry. Like, these are like 10 out of 10 outfits. Look at these outfits. 10 out of 10. If this was an actual boy band, they'd kill everyone. Literally and figuratively. Oh my god. Look at them on stage as well. This breakdown, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with a little breakdown with a rap? Rap and Genshin starting to come hand in hand. It's actually a good song though, isn't it? It's a really good song. Kazuha, show him how it's done. You gotta show him, Kazuha. The visuals are fantastic too, by the way, the actual art style of the video. I don't know how people even do this. Like how they make this stuff. Me bopping my head side to side as well. There's something so cool about, by the way, like belt across the midsection. We need to make sure, like, not even a belt. What would you call it? Yeah, like, it's like a belt. We need to bring it back. When I see them on stage, it like makes me so happy. I really feel like they could be like a boy band. Man, the outfits. I'm never gonna get over the outfits. I'm never gonna get over the outfits. Never. Did a fantastic job with this. Did an absolutely fantastic job with this. No, it's like seriously, like just like the artwork of that, the freaking like incredible like move. Like even I know like, you know, it's like for me, from my perspective, it's like people probably like, Calvin, this is like easier to do when you think like the actual 3D animations dancing. But like every time I see it with these Genshin videos, I'm like, how the hell do they do this? But I think above all else, the song sounds like really good. But I think that it's like, this could be a boy band. Like these three, like a boy group at least. I don't know if you call it, yeah, a group, like a different boy group making music. And like again, like I said, with Vaughn, can't see Vaughn as anything but a dancer now. Just a pure dancer. And of course, like as well, like we've seen the Vaughn dance several times with Kazuha as well. Either there was a weird surprise too, but again, like the designs of the characters, mixing them in with the music, it's always really, really cool to see. Thank you so much for sending in, Fizzle. The next video is sent in by Death Trap, and it's Yelan and Dehya steal a car. They do? Okay. I don't know what we're to expect here. Let's check this out. Dilongu, Nameless Road. I have no idea what to expect from this. Oh, what is happening? What is happening? What are we getting at here? No, we're doing Mission Impossible style? Okay. Okay.
I got your back.
It's okay. Oh, look at the animation's so cool. Of course, Dehya stepping into action. Beast mode. Jesus Christ, the chop to the throat as well. Oh, you're done. You're done. You're done. Yeah, I'd run too. I would run too.
Hey, where you going?
It's like an action buddy cop movie here. Well, I guess my buddy spelunkers.
It's about getting out before they do.
That slime dynamite with a really good touch. Oh, look at the pose.
Well, I guess that's one way to finish a job. Not quite done yet. Looks like we found the one who's been paying these guys.
That's a car. That is a car. Oh, it's for 2 members.
Where's my treasure?
With a sports car. Oh, they literally do steal a car.
Whoa, what is this thing?
It's a car.
This is our ride
The dialogue is even like very like movie based, right? Like very like buddy movie.
Don't let them get away.
You
They don't have
sure know how to
segues.
use this thing, right? I mean, we're going pretty fast.
They have segues. They legitimately have segues.
Apparently, not fast enough.
Holy. It's such a weird visual, right? The cars and stuff is almost like Mad Max.
I'm borrowing this. Hey, that's mine! You can't just take things that don't put that.
As much as this like is like a meme, right? It is kind of like a meme. But at the same, like I don't know, I expected it just to be like this meme or whatever when I saw Yellen and Dehya steal a car. But it's actually like this could be like a scene from like a buddy movie. It's incredible. Look at that! What the hell? With the bow? Insane. What the? Adventure movie music as well. Get off that.
Just for that, you owe me
Who's driving the car? No, it's sick. That's so sick. Oh my god, Dehya, you look so awesome. On a dirt bike. He has a dirt bike. Oh god. Oh god, please catch yourself. No way. Oh, that would still hurt so bad. Okay, Dehya. I'm not dead. Cooler than anyone could ever imagine to be. And this is the coolest Yealan's ever looked as well, I think. No, you're not taking it back.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, come back here.
He's got the box, Dehya. Ram the sword to his back. Ram it through. Oh my god, Dehya. What are you doing? What? What the hell? And she uses her powers mid-air?
Thanks for the test drive.
Yeah, thanks for the test drive.
I think that Qixing will want this even more now.
Oh my god.
So I'll be taking it back.
Like, Yelan, if she says like, you know, like that, oh look at Dehya as well. Dehya's so cool. Dehya needs her own movie. But like if Yelan comes close to face and goes, thanks for that, like as they're stealing something off me, like I'll be kind of like, I feel terrible, but at the same time I'm like, you know what? Hero moment. Hero moment. Very cool. Look at Dehya.
So, let's talk about how much you owe me.
I need this movie. Ningguang! Is that a car key? No. That was so impressive. That was so impressive. So neat to see stuff like that. Like, I know what it is, just like every time we get to see Roma Reacts, we get to see more and more like Genshin characters out of like their actual comfort zone in the game, right? And that's such a special thing to me. You need sleep? Yeah, you did so much. Like, it's such a special thing to me. And that could have been its own freaking movie. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a meme, which would have been funny as well. But like, it turned out to be like this full action sequence, like from a movie, like like almost like if Indiana Jones had cars. Like, I need to see a full Yelan and like a full Yelan story with with Dehya, like doing this stuff in the desert all the time. Really, really cool stuff. Really, really neat to see. Thank you so much for sending in as well, Death Trap. Some really, like as usual, great videos, guys, today as well. The next video is sent in by Felicious Felix, and it is a fan-made Hoyle Fair game featuring King Deshret and Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Huh? Let's check this out. In the desert. The desert's so imposing. The whispers as well. Gorgeous. The tablet looks nice too. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, look at that. Wait. Holy hell, the setting. Oh, this is before everything, like, went to hell, right? Oh my god, it's so cool to see it. Because that was King Deshret's tomb as well, right? Oh man. It's not nice to look at, is it? The music is fantastic. Oh, this is Rukkhadevata. Beautiful, beautiful artwork here. Absolutely gorgeous. And is this... No, it's Rukkhadevata. Or is it the goddess of flowers? Or is it just Rukkhadevata from a different angle? Yeah, it's Rukkhadevata. And this is supposed to be, by the way, the representation of King Deshret. King Deshret's beautiful. Yeah, no, this commanding presence they had over his people. They love this dude. Holy hell, look at this character design. With the gold eyeshadow. It's gorgeous. Rukkhadevata again as well. There's the goddess of flowers for sure. For sure. Wow. Man, it's such a beautiful story, isn't it? Between all of these characters. Like, it's so beautiful. Healing the trees. We're gonna go back in a second to see something that I just thought was really pretty. The size of that tree. I'm so impressed. So impressed. I really feel like we say it all the time, the fans of Genshin are popping off and there's shrunken down. Wow. Is that... I think it's... Yeah, well, we're going to get to the crest, but there's something I want to go back to. Like, there's a few things that I want to look at again, just because of how absolutely, you know... And again, there's a lot of things that are pretty... First of all, like character design is so important to me. And, like, this gold eyeshadow with, like, this framing and all this stuff with this character is... It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Like, if this is King Deshret, I'm following. You know what I mean? I'll be an Eremite tomorrow. Like, it's so pretty. And the yellow eyes as well. It's unbelievably pretty too. This scene was also like, you know, hit me a little bit too. Like we've heard these stories as time has gone on with the lore and things like this, and this just like means the world to me seeing more stuff like this. Yeah, I'm trying to find the other things I've seen as well. No, it's further on, sorry. Here. Like, the commanding presence. Like, look at the faces of these people. These people believed in Deshret. They believed in Deshret so freaking much, as you would. Like, that's your guy. That's your guy. Like, such a cool video. Such a beautiful video. And I thank you so much for sending Felix. Like, because to me, like, it's like, again, you hear the lore and stuff, so it's always nice when the fans, like, put, like it into, like, action and motion so that you can see it for yourself. Like, it's always a cool thing. And it's always appreciated. And, like, I'm wondering is, like, what is the reception to, like, well, actually, no, we can check the comments, actually. Because I want to see is, the way I cried so bad when I saw Luca Devato didn't hesitate one bit to help her longtime friend King Deshret. Yes. Sino Grey resembles King Deshret. Yeah, true. Nilo dresses and dances like the goddess of flowers, and he does the Dendra Icon. The three can be together, which would be really nice. Teva will never forget their existence, but we'll remember her. Great Luca Devato sacrifice. Man, the fanbase is awesome. Like, such a bad rap that they had for years that I always heard from people. So it says this fan animation is so beloved that MiHoYo implied that it's a canon and the new Deshret designs on the TCG card? Is that true? That's insane. Yeah, no, the friendship and like all the love that they have between themselves is such a fantastic thing. And I'm so grateful that I got to see it myself as well. Thank you so much for sending in, Felix. That was so awesome. The next video is sent in by Leon, and it is Dissolve. It's a Jujutsu Kaisen animatic, and I believe it's definitely going to have something to do with Gojo, and it's going to have something to do with Geto. Let's check it out. By Joji. Joji? Is that? Wait, Joji? Formerly known as... I know he doesn't like to be called anymore, so I won't call him that. He used to be a YouTuber. He makes good music now. Am I right in saying that's the same person? Look at this interesting style. Oh my god. Gojo. These glasses are so sick. Oh, Geto. Geto, I want to hug you. We wish you could change the path, you know? So badly. Like from the opening of season 2. Incredible. Oh my god, I'm from season 2. This is gonna kill me. This is literally the day when they visited the beach and the aquarium. Oh no, not this day. This tore Gojo up, by the way. Tore him up. Looks good in a Hawaiian shirt. Feel complacent on the outside. Look at them together. Oh god. This is beautiful. Look at it's so pretty. This again is from the ending. This kills me. No. And again, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who's like seen the 2 seasons in all, and it like kills me. Like looking at this, it's a beautiful animation, but like it's just bringing up so many feelings, and the Joji song ain't helping. I mean, it's helping, but all these 3. Oh my god, look, I paused in this frame as well. I meant to pause in the other. It's so gorgeous. It's killing me. It's killing me in all the best ways possible. Oh my god. Oh. That day doesn't even recognize him anymore. That's so freaking... Stop. No, like, you can't do this to me. And this moment as well from the movie. The animator was way kinder to by the way, to Geto here. I'm just saying this right now. They love Geto, and I love it because Geto did not look this good at this moment. The animator loves Geto so much, and I appreciate it. Geto did not look that good. Incredible. Incredible. Like a lot of, and by the way, Joji's song just made it so beautiful to hear as well. But there's so many moments here that are absolutely gorgeous that like are so well put together. I think what they did here as well, like there's in particular like what is coming up here, is like the transition that like works really well of telling the story about like how like must tore everyone up. Like you see them together like this. Like, which is perfect, like showing exactly how they are. They were so close. They were so close. And now you see kind of like this thing. Yeah, look, they were so close. Maybe I got this wrong. By the way, this is something I didn't even notice before. I want to point this out. Look at this. When I first watched it, I didn't even notice. I was looking back in the scene again. It shows where they like. It's like what they. To me, like it's their best position in life of like where they could have got past their meetings, like, Geto mentoring these two girls to the point that they adore him so much, like, could have been like the best thing in the world for him. And I think it's like just shows that like they both have that quality in them that like is something that people want to follow, and they have a lot of people like that a lot of stuff that you can learn from them as well. It's just like Geto went down the wrong path, and you see the parallel here as well, where it's like. Gojo isn't a perfect human, by the way. I want to say that right now. Like the story is he's not a perfect human, but you see as well where he ended up with his kids that would do anything for him. This whole thing is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sending this, Leon. This gave me absolute chills. It really did. For me with Jujutsu Kaisen, it's always been something that's been really special to me from a point, because I remember at first I was like, I didn't get it, and I rewatched season 1 after I watched season 1. I'm not even joking. I was like, this is really good. And then I rewatched it again, and I was like, no, this is incredible. Do you ever get that when you watch something at first, you're like, this is good? Then I was like, okay, I think then I watched season 2. Then I rewatched season 1. I was like, no, this whole thing is incredible. Like all of this together is incredible. Like, and I was like so wrong, because at first when I finished season 1 originally years ago, I was like, it's good, but I didn't have an attachment to it. And then I did watch season 2, and like literally like 3 episodes into season 2, I remember I was like, I'm gonna watch season 1 again, and I was like, oh my god, I was an idiot. Like I don't know if it's just different times, different feelings, but I'm very appreciative to see something like that again. So I thank you very much, Leanne, for sending that in. That was like seeing an old friend almost. The next video is sent in by Golden Witch Beatrice, and is Archon chapter's journey so far. Let's check this out. So it's Subutai.
A traveler, you say?
Oh my god, these are good.
Why are you traveling?
Reward for the capture of a blonde-haired traveler and
they're
their
like a movie
pet.
trailer, actual movie trailer.
So this refers to you two?
There's been a large dragon sighted around Mondstadt recently. Storm terror.
Oh my god.
Best to get inside the city as soon as possible.
The Tianquan Ningguang has forbidden anyone from accessing Rex Lapis's vessel.
So we've seen something like this before as well, right? Oh my god, remember this scene?
Statue of the omnipresent god today.
The Academia lost a knowledge capsule in the desert. Use it, and you'll gain the wisdom of the gods.
The wind here. Something's off.
Prola. Wait, is that toxic? Yeah. This is so cool. It's so well done.
The people of Mondstadt will never sleep again for the nightmares they give them.
Signora.
It's going to end you.
It's edited so well.
I will awaken the god that lies dormant beneath Guin's stone forest.
I'm getting flashbacks.
You could never defeat me.
You are aware that the loser must die.
Oh lord! And I remember this so much. Like again, it's like a movie. Like if you saw this trailer before, like another movie, you'd be like, holy hell!
We are using human wisdom to create a god.
Let us reenact a scene of the Archon War. Embrace the anger. Embrace it!
Oh, it's so sick. And having the action here as well. Like they're selling this as like a movie, right? With Nilou distracting everyone as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's so like a movie trailer that like they're even like selling stuff in like ways that are kind of like, you know, like tricking you in a way. It's like the scene with Nilou, like nothing bad happens to Nilou, but it looks like she's about to get like attacked, right? It's so good. Great oh my god, what a transition.
Oh, so we just need to fight monsters from the abyss and a dragon. No pressure.
That is such a movie trailer thing. It's so perfect.
Oh, so we just
so
need
perfect.
to fight monsters from the abyss and a dragon. No pressure or anything.
Perfect. No. You deserve all the credit in the world for this. We've seen another one of these before.
That's on you.
Yes. Post-trailer stuff. So cool. You did such a fantastic job with that. Like, you really did. All the credit in the world, like, for stuff like this, because it again, like it said, it is like exactly what you think it would be like. It is like a movie trailer, but the way they edit it is like so freaking impressive. I think we also, like, if I'm not wrong, like they also created the video we watched maybe I'm wrong, because I'm looking at their channel now and I don't always remember the names for everything. Excuse me. But I'm imagining that like they also created because I watched the Archon trailer Story So Far, which is really, really cool. Let me see here. Genshin trailers. Yeah, and I watched the cinematic trailer originally a year ago as well. They did such a good job with this. Oh my god, they're so good. They're so good. And then we also watched the Warfare video as well, Times Change. We watched that recently too. There's a picture. I don't want to look at too many pictures here, but there's a picture with Kalei on it as well. If anyone's worried about me checking out like, Genshin videos and get recommended stuff, the account I use for this is a different account. This is like for Roma Reacts, I have like a quote unquote work account. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I watch stuff on the different accounts so I don't get spoiled by stuff. So this is the account that I watched this on, but that was so freaking cool. Yeah, I love how like it's edited to be like an actual trailer. The Paimon stuff is actually like so fantastic. Yeah, and even like the way it like edits a song to like fit the trailer, like most trailers do nowadays with the song Toxic. So cool to see. So cool to see. Thank you so much for sending in. It was awesome. The next video is sent in by my tablet went down, which is not good. It's sent in by Cosmic Catloaf, and it is the lyric video to an amazing song from Hoyo Fair. So this is Scaramouche / Wanderers. Let's see what it says here. Wanderers theme. Let's check it out. I don't need something to use this. Oh my god, it's gonna kill me, isn't it? Was a heart. That's what they saw the gnosis as. Is this trash what they call a heart? Jesus. Yeah. Oh my god, I don't need this fate. This perfectly encapsulates who Vaughn is. I don't need this fate if it's not gonna go Urza again. And this is how they felt. I'm sorry, we have to, like, yeah, where would the tears go, by the way? There's no such thing as freedom. Where would these tears go? And it's sad because, like, we know, like, how things end up. It's like, we're gonna eventually, like, let the tears flow onto us. The tears are gonna come to us, and you will be better for it. Like, we won't be able to see through the tears themselves. With this unfulfilled heart. Again, it's the idea of, like, if being born has no meaning, like, it's like that, okay, let's just destroy things anyway then. And is that saying, like, if I didn't cry so much, if I wasn't so upset by this, maybe I would have been seeing a clearer path, maybe. The song is, like, really, like almost dance coded in a way as well, but may all life perish. Please may my heart shine its light. Wait, what? Hold on a second. If it's okay to look for freedom, asking is it okay to look for a path forward? Please may my heart shine its light on me again. And please make my heart even show up again. Because again, like, I think it is kind of this idea of, like, trying to find a heart, not just, like, to feel human again, but to make it feel like it's okay to feel like, you know, you're allowed to feel something again. Very sad. Very, very tailored to him. Wow. Again, like, the lyrics are, like, so tailored to that character that we love so much, Vaughn. I think what does make it so hurtful is that they do hit home, and, like, I can understand them almost instantly as they're related to the character of Vaughn. Like, Vaughn is a character who, like, wanted that heart. Like, and I think even now I got a new interpretation of it. Like a similar interpretation, but I always felt like the heart was something that, like, you know, the gnosis was what they saw as a heart, because it's something that could, like, make them come back to being, you know, happy. But, like, obviously as well, like, maybe that's not entirely new because I've been saying something like this for a while, but, like, I guess my perspective is, like, the idea of wanting a heart is also the idea of, like, thinking that, is it okay to feel this way? Is it okay to want to feel this way and to want to move forward? It's not just the idea of wanting to move forward. It's like, well, is it even okay for me to want to move forward? Which I think is sometimes even more of a heartbreaking question than anything. Thank you so much for sending in, Cosmic Caliph. Appreciate it. The next video is sent to my Xiaolao, and it is, it says, turn on the captions. Project MA, you could say this may be the beginning of the entire history leading to the event Seven Deadly Sins. By the way, Rin/Rilani, the daughter of evil, is the Pride arc, and somehow Rilani got involved in an unfortunate way. Let's check this out. So make sure to turn on captions. So there's flashing lights warning. We can say that right now, guys. Thank you for putting that on there. Captions are on automatically. That's always good. Let's check this out. It's always very interesting getting into these stories that I wouldn't usually get into, you know? That I didn't even know existed, let's just be honest here. That's a baby. That is a baby. So it's the beginning of the idea of the 7 deadly sins. Oh. And it makes sense that, like, the Daughter of Evil arc was the, the Pride arc. Oh, the music's like super bouncy. It's like a musical. Colored hair again. The best witch. Mother of the gods. That's a hefty promise. Oh, okay, okay. The great prophet Queen of Glass informed as much, so he didn't get the last character and the means to prevent that his reincarnations were dragon gods. We shall let the twins of God be birthed. What? Ma. Okay, I don't know why I was selected. So was this marriage like again like based off of like wanting them to, like her as a selection? The divine seed is embedded in the cradle. That's a way to put it. That's a way to put it. Like sidetracking with all this stuff, like, you know, it's like the idea of the twins of God being born, and the idea of a selection for someone to be the person who like gives birth to these twins of evil. Like, again, the music is like deceptive because sometimes it can be very like, as I said, it can be very bubbly. Sometimes it can be very like soft sometimes, and sometimes it can be very aggressive. Like in this sense, there's some twisted stuff that happens in the story. Sleeping Beauty. But this feels very musical-esque, you know? Okay, so this is a different perspective. They love doing perspectives in these songs. And this is the best scientist in this country this time. Interesting. Oh god. Oh my god. That's horrible. That's so horrible. I mean, it's horrible in both ways. Like, first of all, 2 children dying like that, but also like the idea of like you wanting to use this birth as like for your own ambitions. Oh, the idea of punishing like the government basically. Right. So that's how they pick the candidates. Oh no! Oh my god! Horrible! This is terrible. Disgusting, actually. Like, again, that's what I'm saying. The music can be so like beautiful, and then you're kind of like the undertones of everything in these stories is like what is like on the screen. You're like nearly getting sick at some points. Oh my god, get out of there! It's cool harmonies, but get out of there. Wait. I was thinking I was like that went by way too fast. It's horrible stuff happening. Again, this is a dark story. At first, when I first watched these videos, I was like, oh, this is just an interesting like once-off video, but no, it's a whole thing. And like the story can get incredibly dark. So what I'm getting from this as well, where there's the credits going by here, there's probably gonna be something else, is there? No? Oh, there is. Seth's project. Huh? Again, they love doing these perspective things as well. Cain and Abel. Adam and Eve. All these biblical names. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. So what I'm getting from this, and if I am wrong, always like correct me, but like there was a project to create these two children. I don't know if these two children were the two twins that we saw previously. I'm guessing that's what it's related to, or like a reincarnation of those two twins maybe. But the reason why they created them is like as a revenge, I guess, to get against the Senate, basically. Is that what they're saying? Now there was like the death of those two children. There was a project for their like to create those two children. But like I said, in most of these songs, they like have like this really, really like beautiful music, and like this sometimes, you know, if you listen to it, you'd be like, oh, this is kind of like fun, right? But when you read the lyrics and you see what's happening on screen, it's a dark story where like no one's getting out of this in a good way. Like literally nobody. Thank you so much for sending in again, Xiaolo. Like I'm learning more about the story, and like, you know, we're getting attached to the story as it goes on. But like it's so dark. It's so dark, isn't it? And I think it's intentionally dark, for sure. Thank you for that, Xiaolo. The next video is sent in by What's Your Damage and is Land of the Dead fan animated. Let's check it out. 10 million views. Jesus Christ. So there's a beautiful animation here. It was in a different version of this. Oh my god. It's so pretty, and like it kind of reminds me of like cartoons, like, you know, that I loved growing up and still do. Right? But it is like that kind of like very this type of like style and animation that like makes me like so happy. Like I look at this and like I feel warm, you know? What's Your Damage always sends in very nice musical stuff. Look at that. So in the last one, this character died by the hands of a girl, I believe, as she opened the curtains and like basically the light burned this thing like as it would a vampire. So now I guess it's after this. So they're doing pretty good. Yeah, but just very like musical style songs. They're singing along too. Ow, 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 ow. No, it's super cool. It doesn't look comfortable. Oh, yeah, the animation's so cool. Oh, look at this again! Like it's like a style, like you can see it here, like as well, exactly like almost like Looney Tunes when I was used to watch it. Like, and again, that's totally a compliment for someone like me who used to like love Looney Tunes as a kid. And whenever I see it, just makes me feel, my heart just fills up. Holy hell! And the choreography as well is also neat. Like you see the little leg kick here as well. There it is, yeah. This guy's just like very much feeling himself constantly. And the music as well. Beautiful colors there at the end also. No problem. No problem. What's happening here? There's the girl that killed him. Now she has this weapon as well. Oh. 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 Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe let's not. The idea of maybe resurrecting like someone, maybe that's not a good idea. So yeah, this Land of the Dead stuff is actually like an animation series, which is actually really, really cool. But I do love like the musical aspects of it. It really is like something that like I would have loved growing up and something I would remember forever. Again, like also stuff I still love now. Like I love seeing this type of stuff. It makes me feel warm, if that makes sense. Because it's definitely not for kids. I want to make that very clear right now. As you can see, like a lot of the imagery and stuff like that is it's very like and the like just like any musical. Like, I think that, you know, sometimes people can look down on musicals, but they're actually really, really amazing way of, like, telling a story. But I think I was just trying to relate to stuff that I used to love. Like it reminds me of, like the Looney Tunes, like, animation or, like, the backgrounds or the color coding. Like, it's very, very beautiful to me. And I'm so glad to have seen this. So thank you so much for sending in What's Your Damage? The last video today is sent in by Polka Girl. And it is Best Friends Forever plus Afterlife. And it's a Flowey video. Let's check it out. Disturbing imagery and flashing lights, so that's always good to know, guys.
Now remember what I taught you. Dodge the bullets.
Very unnerving music to start off with.
I tried for so long, helped to keep you strong against all these distractions, yet you still strayed.
Oh God.
Kept up a big smile, gave you a save file.
Look what's happening here with like the actual flower as well.
Betrayed, child of Nancy, it's time for Plan B. You were so primed for extraction, no one's coming to your aid. Poor little Clover, you know it's over. That isn't hard to see.
It's so different from my Flowey voice.
To your best friend, Flowey. Leaving you to it, never got through it. This required intervention if you ever.
And again, it is just like, it is literally like Flowey talking to Clover, which was a very, very nerve-wracking situation through that game.
Stated, oh, life is faded. But as a point of contention, you kept dying way too fast. Consequences wait when you didn't do it perfect, so you do it all again. A game with your best friend.
There was one time during this game that I genuinely thought I wasn't going to be able to finish it because of how hard it was. I was not good at it at all. It's so like
Clover, where you running?
No,
Come
it's
on,
so
don't
creepy.
You wanna play? Can't you tell your hopes are fleeting when I choose what needs repeating? Kid, why weren't you gunning every person in your way? Who gives a hell when they're forgetting everything after resetting? Every step on every trail lead back.
I'm just looking, by the way, that I'm just keep looking at all these faces, like I'm noticing new things every time I look up at another face. Like some very, like, yeah, creepy imagery is right.
You will fail if you just took my words to
Yeah, you believe that one, yeah. You definitely believe that.
And back at the start.
What a great game. No.
Where did you
No.
go, buddy? Get back.
Oh God.
Here.
Like just very nerve-wracking, isn't it? Oh God. Oh God. It's so creepy.
Hello.
That voice as well is like it's a cloud.
Where am I? Mom?
No.
Dad?
Oh, you can't do that.
Anybody?
The music as well is so good here. This is so... Oh my god! All the dead flowers as well. Jesus, man. Like, this imagery is insane.
Hello? Could this be it? Yes, it has to be. It must be. It must be. It must be.
Insane. Insane imagery. And it's just a void here as well. Look at all the smiley faces. It's such a creepy visual.
What have I done?
Oh, what? Did Clover just get chopped the top of their head off? I hope not. Dear Lord, it's so creepy, but it's so cool. Like, okay, no, it's got to creepier than cool now. it was cool for a while.
You don't know how long I've been waiting for this moment deep below. I've been hungering to be your opponent. I thought up so many.
And I bet you did. I'm sorry, but that visual is such a good visual. Like, with and the eyes are moving at the back of it as well. Oh, that's super neat. Freaking, like, it's so cool. Like, the different animation style as well. Like, I don't know what you call it. It's almost like looks like claymation, right? Our health's almost gone. Oh, it's back.
Ignore what you were told to be. Mash and pull in each direction shaped you into what was needed, but we had a good connection. Yet the journey.
And this voice actor is working overtime, by the way. Like, doing such a good job with this as well. Again, like, it's different from, like, my flowy voice, right? But, like, it is still a flowy voice, which I think is cool. That is, like, very unique in my opinion. It looks so freaking cool. And, like, again, it looks kind of like clay. Is this from the other routes in this game, by the way? Because this looks like it's like an actual fight. Is this legit from the other routes? Because obviously, I like, just being honest, like, I don't usually do the other routes in Undertale because I usually go with the route I originally went with. So I'm wondering, is this like, because look at these visuals, like. They look so freaking cool.
You're a sickness spreading through, infecting all who talk to you. I'm here to scrub out what's endured. If love's a symptom, I'm the cure.
You guys know I don't usually do other routes in Delta or Undertale. The voice actor is doing such a job. Look at the these designs for flowers, for Flowey. Even the like the original kind of like more dead designs.
Try all you'd like to outrun my foe, watching you struggle is
oh god, I bet it's wonderful.
I choose whose blood is spilled in this world.
Jesus. And like the artwork in these videos is always so good. They always like put in artwork like this, like the hand stripping. Like what would you even call like this? I guess it's like the. It's almost like webs, but it's like flowers, right? What do you ask? Oh god. This is so cool. So this must be an actual fight, like, right? Because look at the way you're losing health and gaining health. They would have no need to do that if there was just a... Dear Lord. Dear absolute Lord. This must... Please let me know, Poop Girl, if this is actually from the other route, because I'm actually very curious to know. Because that's so cool. The reason I don't do other routes is because like I really feel like with those games I get like it's like I don't want to, like, if I have the option to be a pacifist in those games, there's something that's so deeply connected to me now with the pacifist routes in those games that I just keep doing that. And I just don't ever, like, after I finish a full pacifist route, it's incredibly difficult. You guys remember we did the other route for Detroit Become Human, and like we were being like horrible in some cases, and it was killing me, right? And that's a game that's like I guess, how do I say it? Like the characters are not as like close in some cases, by the way. Like one thing that killed us was like our detective partner, you know, like in the game. I'm not going to spoil anything if you want to see it, but like I just didn't want to be mean to them at all. You know, I didn't want to be mean to anyone in that game. Because I started to care about them so much. It's really difficult for me to do so. It really is, because like once I get to know the characters especially, it's so hard. Dear Lord, look at this. I'm talking about Hank, by the way, in Detroit Become Human, because I know someone's gonna be like, you don't know the name? No, I was like, don't want to spoil it, but then people know, like, at this point, like, who the detective's name is. Like, but you know what I mean? I'm always worried about spoiling stuff for people. But yeah, this looks super cool.
Behind the screen, see outcomes yet to be. Burn them in your
It's burning in my retina, for sure.
so
I like the little Flowey coming down as well, grabbing stuff.
Don't know what to do.
How do you even do this boss? How did you... Did anyone expect me to actually beat this boss? That's one way to put it.
Can't you see? No big finale can save you now. Anarchy reigns here, so you're never getting out.
The execution blocks awaits. Like, this is one of my favorite visuals in the entire scene of this. In this entire song. The face is incredible. Favorite. That's, again, another way to put it. Oh, the big freaks you out. All at the holes. I was going to pause, but I'm like, no, but let's not pause at this part.
Far from your home. Life
okay, dude.
Refuse to stay the course. When I laid out the scene, nothing but a broken, faulty cog in my.
And this is, again, I'm fully believe this is how Flowey felt about Clover.
Never changes, but it changed me from a shining beacon just like you and left me broken and numb, pushing you further every run until you learn to have some fun. Helping poor lost souls to dishing out bullet holes. How long until you succumb?
This is so cool. And again, it's like another definite, like, this is why I love these games. It's usually like hurt people, right? That's an old phrase that some people get tired of, but it's so freaking true. It's like a cloud. Now, I'm not afraid of clouds, by the way, or circus stuff, so this is kind of cool.
Your hopes and dreams torn down by the
seams adding it to the visuals of like a kind of like a knitted fabric. Stitches.
If you commit, there must be a route to patch up this hole.
A route.
Where I get those souls. Judgment on a breath so gullible. Just
it's like a Nightmare Before Christmas style drawing, right? Like that's what it feels like.
Call your loved ones, scream their name through the void. But nobody came. Little pawn can't accept your own extermination.
And this is something big with Flowey too, right? Like the idea of like not being able to accept your own demise. It's a frustration that they have. Why won't you just accept it? Find one what? Jesus Christ, the lyrics are insane too, but like the voice actor and vocals for this like has been working overtime. Is that it? Oh, it is. Give me some credits. Perfect. No, like that was great, and I think like the visual, I didn't even see that before, the neutral route stuff. But again, I wasn't gonna be doing the neutral route, just being like completely honest with you guys. Not because like I don't love Undertale, but you guys know, anyone who's watching, I'm sure Pokegirl knows this too, we don't usually do the second routes of the Undertale and Deltarune stuff because like it's just the original route I play those games. I like that to be the route that I play. But really cool stuff, really cool visuals. The lyrics kind of fit it as well. I love how they tailored it to what was ever on the screen at the time. I know it's like, oh, that's how animatics work. But in this case, like it's like even tailored to the fabric that was on the screen, which is really cool. Thank you so much for sending it, Pokegirl. That was really cool. I'd love to see more Undertale stuff. I really would. Especially like in the context of stuff I haven't seen or stuff like that, or even like fan-made stuff like that is also really cool to see also. Flowey is a character who is like very tormented, very hurt, and probably, I think, in my opinion, one of the most iconic characters I've ever seen, really, in this on my channel's history, I would say, at this stage. Thank you so much. That's it for Rome Reacts this week, guys, and thank you to everyone who sent in videos, thank you to everyone who watched, and also thank you so much to Never Can Repay the Big Gangster on Patreon, Tyfire2, Jamie Bolt, Jonathan Anna, The Ghost of Exuma, Felicitas Felix, Ewald, Radish, Anusa, Shabata Bed, Malcolm Day, Jeff Trap, and Links, Marky. I'll see you all so soon.